Chapter 78. Early the next morning, Wang Mang was still sleeping in his nest. However, what Wang Mang did not know was that his father had already started to act. At this moment, Wang Fu was sleeping with his wife in his arms. However, his phone started ringing. After being woken up, Wang Fu looked at the caller ID and walked to the balcony to answer the phone with a cold expression. "Old Wang, I didn't disturb your sleep so early, did I?" Boss Luo's smiling voice came from the phone. Hearing that, Wang Fu smiled innocently and replied, "No, old Luo, you're calling. Do you have some profitable business that you want me to do with you?" Hearty laughter came from the phone again. "It's a profitable business. Old Wang, how about selling that reservoir to me? I'll take it for 50 million. After all, you didn't spend much when you contracted the reservoir. You must have made a lot of money these days. 50 million is about right, old Wang. My son is only interested in your reservoir. Otherwise, I wouldn't want it." Hearing that, Wang Fu sneered and thought to himself, "I've made 30 to 40 million in half a month. Do you think I'm short of your 50 million? However, Wang Fu did not reject him directly. It would be easy to offend him. That was because this guy was also a ruthless character. He started out as a coal miner. Later, he successfully changed his business to real estate. Although Boss Luo's real estate business was not big, he was still considered a big shot in the province. To be honest, Wang Fu would not easily offend him if there were no benefits. However, after thinking about it, Wang Fu's eyes suddenly lit up and he thought to himself, "That's right. I haven't thought about who to deal with yet. Old Luo, since you came to me yourself, don't blame me for being ruthless. That's great. I'll gladly accept your billions of assets." Thinking of that, Wang Fu did not refuse again this time. He pretended to hesitate and said, "Old Luo, how about this? When the time comes, you can come and see for yourself how my reservoir is. I'll give you 100 million. It's really not expensive. Moreover, I receive 2 to 3 million every day. Do the math yourself. How long will it take for you to earn back 100 million? After a long silence, the voice came from the phone again. "Old Wang, I don't think there's a need to talk about 100 million. You're too insincere." Wang Fu smiled and said, "When the time comes, you can take a look at the reservoir and we can talk about the price." After a long silence, old Luo's voice came from the phone. "Okay, I'll come and take a look in 3 days. We can talk about the price then." After hanging up the phone, Wang Fu was elated, especially when he thought about how his son had used his mystique to control this guy. At that time, he would be able to easily plunder the other party's wealth. If he were to rashly kill the other party and take over the other party's property, he would not be able to do so. Not to mention that Lao Wang did not dare to do so. No one else would have the guts to do so. However, if the other party cooperated with him, there would be no problem, because there was too much room for manipulation and methods. Now, he already had a target. He had to make arrangements in advance and be fully prepared. At the same time, Wang Mang was still sleeping in the cave. It was not until dark that Wang Mang slowly opened his eyes. His light bulb-sized snake eyes were cold. After walking out of the lair, Wang Mang still went to the small pig farm as soon as possible. When he arrived at the small pig farm, Wang Mang found that his father was smoking a cigarette and had been waiting for a long time. After seeing Wang Mang, Wang Fu was grinning from ear to ear. "Son, you're here. Dad will invite a rich man over in 2 days. Do you have the confidence to control him?" Wang Mang moved his huge body and came to the empty space of the small pig farm. He said confidently, "Don't worry, Dad. My mystique is very powerful. It's easy to control a person. I can even control a monster weaker than me." Hearing his son's confident words, Wang Fu was relieved. He took 2 deep breaths of the cigar and nodded. Okay, son. When the time comes, I'll bring him to your lair. You can do as you see fit. This guy is very rich. He started out in the coal mining industry and later changed to real estate. He's a famous rich man in the province. His net worth is around 5 billion. After hearing this, Wang Mang became excited. 5 billion worth of assets. If all the money was turned into pigs, how many pigs would it be? It would be more than 500,000 pigs. 100 million could buy 10,000 pigs. 10,000 pigs would be more than 4 million evolution points. 5 billion worth of assets. If it was converted into pigs, it would be more than 500,000 pigs. More than 500,000 pigs were equivalent to more than 20 million evolution points. It would be enough for Wang Mang to evolve 2 more times. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang's heart was filled with excitement. Thus, after discussing with his father, Wang Mang confirmed the plan with his father. However, only the father and son knew about the plan to hunt the rich man. After all, if this matter was exposed, it would cause a huge commotion. At that time, who wouldn't be afraid of Wang Mang? It could be said that the fewer people who knew about this, the better. Once it was exposed, the consequences would be unimaginable. Countless people's expressions would change. It might even bring about a disaster to Wang Mang. After all, this ability was too frightening. Half an hour later, Wang Mang and his father had already discussed the plan. Under Wang Mang's escort, his father left the Huanshan Reservoir. After escorting his father, Wang Mang returned to the small-scale farm and finished eating the 200 pigs. At this point, the 90,000 evolution point for the day were easily earned. After eating the pig, Wang Mang, who was in a good mood, moved his huge body and took a stroll around the banks of the large reservoir that surrounded the mountains. This scared the beasts on the shore and caused them to flee in all directions. However, at this time, Wang Mang didn't know if he saw wrongly. He seemed to have vaguely seen a huge creature floating on the surface of the lake in the east. Did I see wrongly? The doubtful Wang Mang immediately moved his body and entered the water, swimming towards the depths of the water. However, when Wang Mang got close to the eastern waters, he realized that he didn't see wrongly. A huge creature was quietly floating on the surface of the water. This huge monster wasn't anyone else. It was his subordinate, the super black python Dark Light. Not only that, Dark Light died miserably. Many parts of his body were bitten to the point that they were about to break. Half of his huge black snake head had been bitten off. Even the water around his body was dyed red with blood. When he saw this scene, Wang Mang was both shocked and furious in his heart. He really couldn't figure out who killed his subordinates. Moreover, the eastern waters. This was his and Dark Light's territory. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was extremely angry, but more than that, he was puzzled. Could it be that the 2 giant catfish in the west did it? Thinking of this, Wang Mang wandered around the entire reservoir but didn't find anything. There weren't any powerful characters in the Huanshan Reservoir. On the contrary, the white super python in the southern waters was gone. Could it be that the white super python did it? Thinking of this, Wang Mang searched the eastern waters twice again. The result was that he didn't find the white super python. This also made Wang Mang a little surprised and doubtful. Finally, Wang Mang caught a giant catfish that was more than 10 meters long. After asking, he learned the ins and outs of the matter. It turned out that his own subordinate. It was indeed killed by the white super python. Moreover, it was because he had been implicated. That was because after killing his lackey, the white python ran away. After learning the truth, Wang Mang was so angry that his teeth itched. This white super python was simply provoking him. If the other party was still in the reservoir, Wang Mang would have taught her a good lesson, so that the white super python would know who was the overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir. Alas, forget it, Dark Light. It's not that I don't want to help you, Your Majesty. When did you die, Your Majesty? I don't even know. But don't worry. If there's a chance, Your Majesty, I will definitely avenge you. Looking at the huge body of Dark Light in front of him, Wang Mang said very sadly. Then, Wang Mang seemed to think of something, and suddenly his snake eyes lit up. After all, Dark Light used to be his underling. Now his subordinate was dead. This subordinate's body. He couldn't just leave it alone, right? Moreover, as the king, he had the obligation to help him deal with the funeral. Thinking of this, Wang Mang, who was grieving in his heart, swallowed the body with tears in his eyes. Chapter 79. After Wang Mang swallowed his little brother's body, the system's voice sounded, ding. Host has devoured a mutated black rock python. Obtained 280,000 evolution points. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang's grief was alleviated a lot. Actually, he did not want to eat dark light. After all, dark light was his little brother. However, if he did not eat dark light, the psychic fish in the Huanshan reservoir would not be polite. Rather than letting the psychic fish take advantage of him, he might as well enter Wang Mang's stomach. He believed that after getting his promise, dark light would be able to rest in peace. However, then again, Wang Mang was still very angry. This white giant python was really sinister. It could not beat him, so it actually bullied his little brother? What made Wang Mang even angrier was that, if the white giant python wanted to leave, so be it. Before it left, it wanted to kill his little brother. This was a slap to his face. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was very depressed. If the white giant python did not run away, Wang Mang would not let it go if it dared to kill his little brother, unless this giant white python could bring him even more benefits. Fortunately, the white giant python did not take away his little brother's body. Otherwise, he would have lost a little brother for nothing and gained nothing. Thinking of this, Wang Mang turned his grief into strength. He began to vent his anger in the reservoir. In an instant, the psychic fish in the reservoir suffered again, because ever since he did not have to worry about his growth, he did not even care about his face. A 5-meter-long fish. He ate it without hesitation. Fish under 3 meters were an exception. Therefore, on this night, Wang Mang began to hunt crazily in the entire Huanshan reservoir. At the same time, following Wang Mang's crazily killing, the system's voice kept ringing, ding. Congratulations, host. Devoured a 10-meter-long mutated giant catfish. Gained 60,000 evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. Devoured a 5-meter-long mutated giant bone-tongue fish. Gained 30,000 evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. Swallowed a 5-meter-long variant grass carp. Obtained 80,000 evolution points. It was a night of slaughter. This lasted all the way until dawn. Blood dyed the surface of the lake red. These psychic fishes would never have dreamed of this. They had just come out of the western waters not long ago. This devil that instilled fear in countless psychic fish had appeared again. Furthermore, he was even more shameless this time. Even more shameless. He didn't even let go of a 5-meter-long psychic fish. There was simply no humanity to speak of. If they continued to eat like this, they would be eaten to extinction. They had never seen such a shameless monster. This was simply unethical. At the same time, after stopping the slaughter, Wang Mang couldn't help but nod in satisfaction. Although he didn't evolve this time, Wang Mang definitely hunted a lot of psychic fish. Wang Mang had hunted for an entire night, so he was well aware of this. At the same time, Wang Mang was curious as well. After a night of hard work, now, how many evolution points did he accumulate? Thinking of this, Wang Mang silently said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type. Mutated Titan Python status. Peak status. Mutating body. 33 meters long, 4 meters wide, 6,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 8,000 kilograms bite force, 92 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, exceptional poison fong, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury divine ability, King's slavery special, storage space, information detection evolution points, 3, 8 million/8 million shop. Not opened after looking at his personal information. Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction in his heart. It seems like tonight's harvest was at least 3 million evolution points. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's mood became even better. Now, he only needed to quietly wait for his father's good news. Thinking of this, Wang Mang went to the underwater nest and began to sleep. Only when the sky turned dark did Wang Mang come out from the crack in the wall and rush towards the shore. After returning to the shore, Wang Mang went to the small-scale farm as usual and ate 200 pigs. Another 90,000 evolution points easily entered his account. After eating the pigs, Wang Mang returned to the cave on the shore. Such days continued for 2 full days. Wang Mang ate another 400 pigs. His evolution points increased from 3.8 million to 4.08 million. Of course, this was only the appetizer. Wang Mang's main course was the magnate that was about to arrive. Once he controlled the magnate, his father would sell off the magnate's property. 5 billion was more than enough for Wang Mang to evolve 2 more times, maybe even more. In the blink of an eye, another day had passed. On the morning of the 3rd day, Wang Mang was waiting in the cave. This was because today was the day he had agreed to meet with his father. Today, his father would invite the magnate. At that time, he would use his divine ability to control the magnate. After that, Wang Mang would not need to worry. His father would take the magnate's wealth. However, what made Wang Mang puzzled was that no one came even when he waited until noon. It was only in the afternoon that Wang Mang heard the sound of footsteps and conversations from outside the cave. Soon after, Wang Mang caught a familiar aura in the air. At the same time, Wang Mang also heard his father's familiar voice. At this moment, outside the cave, Wang Fu smiled as he chatted with the middle-aged boss. This middle-aged boss was none other than Boss Luo. Moreover, Boss Luo was very confident in Wang Fu, so he did not bring any bodyguards. Although the two sides had a lot of business conflicts more than 10 years ago. However, that was already a long time ago. Boss Luo did not think that Wang Fu would do anything to him. After all, this was a legal society. At this time, Boss Luo smiled and said, "Since the business is almost done, then, old Wang, I'll go back first. I'll send someone to go through the contract process another day." Hearing this, Wang Fu smiled and said, "Let's go. I'll take you to the cave in front to see something good." After that, Wang Fu hugged Boss Luo and walked toward the cave where Wang Mang was. Boss Luo, who was dumbfounded, teased, "What good thing? Did you find 2 girls to play with? Are you going to play outdoors like young people?" Hearing this, Wang Fu laughed and said, "You'll know when you go in." After that, Wang Fu pulled Boss Luo and walked into Wang Mang's cave. At the same time, Wang Mang, who had been waiting for a long time, saw his father and this fake magnate appear in front of him. "Old Wang, what the hell are you doing?" At this time, looking at the dark cave, Boss Luo could not help but frown. Hearing this, Wang Fu said with a smile, "Old Luo, have you seen my son?" Boss Luo was stunned and felt very puzzled. He could not help but whisper to himself, "Your son? Isn't your son, King, dead?" At this time, deep in the cave, a huge black shadow slowly emerged from the darkness. When he saw the behemoth that appeared in the darkness, he was completely stunned. He looked at Wang Mang in disbelief, and his eyes almost popped out. It was as if he had seen a ghost, because he had never seen such a huge python. It was even bigger than the black python he saw in the video some time ago. After coming back to his senses, he looked at Wang Mang in horror. His body slumped to the ground, and his voice trembled in horror. How can there be such a huge python?" Hearing this, Wang Mang slowly opened his bloody mouth and grinned. "Of course I'm waiting for you. I've been waiting for you for 3 days. Seeing Wang Mang speak human language, the already terrified tycoon's eyes rolled back, and he fainted from fright. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang was speechless. This guy was too cowardly. However, Wang Mang did not care, because Wang Mang knew about this supernatural power of his. Even if the target fainted, he could still use King's slavery. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly muttered in his heart and used the supernatural power. King's slavery. 10 minutes later, under Wang Fu's expectant gaze, the magnate woke up. He knelt on the ground devoutly and kept kowtowing to Wang Mang. He looked at Wang Mang with a fanatical face and said in an extremely excited tone, "Great master, I am your most loyal servant." This scene made Wang Fu, who was watching from the side, immediately open his eyes wide and his face full of shock, because his son's supernatural power was even more terrifying and abnormal than he had imagined. Chapter 80. Oh my God! This, is he directly controlling him? Old man Wang, who had regained his senses, still muttered to himself in disbelief. Because this scene was too strange. In just a few minutes, he easily enslaved a person. Moreover, he directly treated his son as his master. Wasn't this a little too terrifying? This kind of divine ability was simply heaven-defying. Looking at his father's shocked expression, Wang Mang smiled and explained, "Dad, it's more than that. Even if I told him to die, he wouldn't even frown." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the rich man kneeling on the ground said with a face full of fanaticism and excitement, "To be able to die for my master is my greatest honor." After hearing Boss Luo's excited and fanatical words, Wang Fu was speechless. He finally experienced the terror of his son's divine ability. It was simply incomparable to brainwashing, because even brainwashing wouldn't be so exaggerated. Look, his son told this guy to die, but this guy was still so excited with a face full of happiness. Was this something that brainwashing could do? This was a complete enslavement of the soul. In fact, this was indeed the case. Wang Mang's king's enslavement divine ability was a spiritual attack. Once the target's strength was inferior to Wang Mang's, after being enslaved by Wang Mang's divine ability, the target would obey him. The target would listen to Wang Mang's every word and be willing to die for him at any time. Because in the depths of the target's soul, Wang Mang was the target's everything. Any order that Wang Mang gave would be completed by the target with fanaticism. Wang Fu, who originally didn't quite believe it, after Wang Mang gave a few orders to the rich man. Seeing that his former business rival actually obeyed his son's orders, Wang Fu was completely convinced. "Aha! Good. My son did well. Just wait for the good news." Wang Fu nodded in satisfaction and said excitedly. Hearing this, Wang Mang nodded and continued to order the target. "In the future, my father's words are my orders. You have to listen to him." Boss Luo, who was kneeling on the ground, kowtowed fervently and said, "Respected masters, it's my greatest honor to be able to listen to your orders." Wang Fu nodded with satisfaction. Then, he happily led Boss Luo away. Needless to say, Wang Mang also knew that his father wanted to extort the other party's wealth. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's heart was filled with joy. Now, all he needed to do was to wait for the good news. But what Wang Mang didn't expect was that he had to wait for half a month. Half a month later, Wang Mang spent every day as usual. Moreover, in addition to eating 200 pigs every day, it was to go down to the reservoir to catch the psychic fish. Therefore, in this half a month's time, Wang Mang had accumulated a lot of evolution points. However, he was still short of 1,000,000 evolution points to evolve. In these days, Wang Mang had been hunting the psychic fish in the Huanshan Reservoir, as well as eating 200 pigs every day. Only then did he manage to accumulate 7,000,000 evolution points. This made Wang Mang feel helpless. That was because sometimes one's imagination was perfect, but reality was cruel. The plundering of these rich people's wealth was more troublesome than he had imagined. Luckily, his father had successfully obtained the other party's wealth in this half a month. Now, the remaining wealth was mostly untouched assets. It would be difficult to deal with them in a short amount of time. This also made Wang Mang realize that he had taken things for granted before. After all, even if he sold off the fixed assets, it couldn't be done in a short amount of time. Luckily, Wang Fu, who had obtained a lot of wealth, had already started to support Wang Mang. After the phone call last night, Wang Fu found out that his son was short of 3,000 pigs to evolve. Wang Fu straightforwardly agreed. He would first transport 2,000 pigs for Wang Mang to eat and evolve. However, it was obviously not easy to transport more than 2,000 pigs. Luckily, Wang Fu had previously built a large-scale farm for Wang Mang. Thus, Wang Fu let Wang Mang go to the large-scale farm to eat pigs tonight. Therefore, when night fell, Wang Mang immediately went to the small-scale farm. After eating the 500 pigs in the small-scale farm, he obtained another 500,000 evolution points. Afterwards, Wang Meng rushed to the large-scale farm without stopping. The large-scale farm was originally built for Wang Meng. Thus, the large-scale farm was extremely large. It could accommodate more than 10,000 adult pigs. Its scale could be imagined. Thus, after entering the large-scale farm, Wang Meng searched for a long time before finding the other 1,500 adult pigs. After crazily killing and swallowing, Wang Meng spent a total of 2 hours. Only then did he successfully eat the 1,500 adult pigs. At the same time, Wang Meng had finally accumulated enough capital to evolve again. When he was swallowing, the system had already notified him that he had met the requirements for evolution. This clearly meant that Wang Meng had accumulated enough evolution points to evolve. Thinking about this, Wang Meng was extremely emotional. The accumulation of half a month. Now, he had finally accumulated enough capital to continue evolving. Another thing worth mentioning was, Wang Meng's current body was too big. Therefore, swallowing the adult pigs was like eating a pig in one mouth. Otherwise, Wang Meng would have to eat 2,000 pigs for a long time. Now, his body was only big, so it was convenient for him to eat the pigs. Half a month. It's already been half a month. Now, I've finally accumulated enough evolution points. Finally, I can start evolving again. Thinking about this, Wang Meng's heart was filled with emotions. Until this moment, the gloomy mood he had been in for the past half a month had finally dissipated. His mood was extremely good. Wang Meng glanced at the piglets in the nearby pigsty and muttered to himself, "That's right. Little guys, you have to grow up quickly. It's best if you grow up big and fat. I'm still waiting for you to grow up." After saying this, the happy Wang Meng moved his huge body and left the large-scale farm. He first went to the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir, washed off the blood on his body, and then returned to the nest. After returning to the nest, he curled his huge body into a ball. Then, Wang Meng couldn't help but excitedly say in his heart, "System, start evolving." The next moment, the system's familiar voice sounded again. Ding! Successfully deducted 8 million evolution points. Beginning evolution. Chapter 81. Following the system's voice, Wang Meng completely lost consciousness and entered the evolution state. 2 hours later, only then did Wang Meng awaken from his evolution state. After Wang Meng observed for a bit, he was even more shocked. His body had actually become a lot thicker. At the same time, it was not only his body that increased. Wang Meng could feel that the power contained in his body was much stronger than before. Of course, Wang Meng still had to check his information to know the specific changes. Thinking to this point, Wang Meng said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Meng type, mutated Titan Python status, peak status, mutating body, 36 meters long, 8 meters wide, 8,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 9,000 kilograms bite force, 93 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, exceptional poison fong, skin camouflage, steel body, super heal, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury special, storage space. Information detection evolution points, 60,000/16 million evolution points shop. Not opened. After looking at his personal information, Wang Meng nodded in satisfaction. His sturdiness had reached 8 meters. His weight had also increased to 8 tons. His body length had also reached 36 meters. No wonder he felt that the nest was a bit crowded. It turned out that after this evolution, he had become a lot stronger. With this kind of strength, Wang Meng even had the confidence to wrestle with the 2 giant catfish in a reservoir. This kind of confidence naturally came from his body size. His body was really too thick and strong. A 8-meter thick body. It was even taller than an adult. With his current body length and thickness, he definitely had the strength to fight with the giant catfish. He believed that once he evolved again, he would be able to try to occupy the Huanshan Reservoir. Thinking to this point, Wang Meng's mood became even more joyous. Moreover, those 2 giant catfish were too big. If he could devour them, he might be able to obtain a lot of evolution points. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but drool, because if he really ate the 2 giant catfish, he would definitely gain a lot. Just as Wang Mang was happily thinking about how he could dominate the Huanshan Reservoir as soon as possible, the system's voice sounded again. Ding! Congratulations, you've obtained a new skill, Corrosive Venom. Ding! Corrosive Venom can be fused with Peerless Poison Fawn. Fusing in progress. Ding! Congratulations, you've obtained a new skill, Corrosive Poison. Its toxicity has increased to 500 times that of the King Cobra. Corrosive Venom can be used to kill the target with a spray or to inject the venomous fangs into the target's body. It was 500 times more poisonous than the King Cobra. It can instantly corrode ordinary metals. After listening to the system's explanation, Wang Mang was completely stunned. Did he acquire a new skill? Infused into an even stronger venom? What made Wang Mang the happiest was that after the 2 skills were combined, not only did the poison increase, but it could also shoot attacks from the fangs, which had an extremely strong corrosive ability. It could even corrode ordinary metals in an instant. One could only imagine how powerful it was. Moreover, after acquiring this new skill, Wang Mang didn't have to worry about anyone trying to harm him anymore, because after acquiring this new skill, Wang Mang could also use group attacks. Moreover, the attack range was huge. After acquiring this skill, Wang Mang recalled a python movie that he had watched before. He remembered that the python in the movie could also shoot corrosive venom, and people would die instantly upon contact with it. All in all, after this upgrade, Wang Mang finally had a long-range attack method. Although the attack range wasn't too far, this skill was very practical. If there were many targets during a battle, he could directly shoot the corrosive venom, and he wouldn't have to worry about being surrounded. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was in a good mood and even had the urge to fight, because all this while he had been hiding all the way until now. To be honest, this kind of life wasn't good, but he could not hide. Especially when his body size was getting bigger, if he was exposed, he might be targeted by people with bad intentions. Thinking of this, Wang Mang knew that he had to occupy the Huanshan Reservoir as soon as possible. The possibility of being exposed in the water was much lower than being exposed on land. At least, after occupying the Huanshan Reservoir, he wouldn't have to worry for a long time. Even if his body size reached 100 meters, he could still hide in the reservoir. However, Wang Mang believed that the day when he occupied the reservoir wouldn't be too long. When he evolved again, and his body size was close to 40 meters, it would be the day of his final battle with giant catfish. If he won, everyone would be happy, and he would become the true overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir. If he lost, he would have to leave the reservoir temporarily, because once he challenged giant catfish's position as the overlord, if he lost, giant catfish would definitely not allow him to stay in the reservoir. Now, giant catfish probably felt that he wasn't much of a threat. Just then, the familiar voice of the system sounded again, frowny-faced Ding. Detected that the host is in a difficult situation. The host is given the following missions to choose from. Mission 1. Live in harmony. Build a good relationship with giant catfish. Mission reward. 3 million evolution points. Mission time. Available upon selection. Mission 2. Seize back the reservoir. Expel giant catfish from the reservoir. Mission reward. 8 million evolution points. Mission time. Available upon completion. Mission 3. Get rid of giant catfish. Completely occupy Huanshan Reservoir. Mission reward. 10 million evolution points. Free access to the shopping center. Mission time. Available upon completion. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang stared blankly for a long time. Then he became very happy. It seems like the system also wanted him to fight with giant catfish. Moreover, the system's missions this time did not have a time limit. The rewards of the 3 missions were also very clear. Wang Mang didn't even need to think to know what to choose. After completing the 3rd mission, the reward was the most. Why? Because Wang Mang's next evolution required 16 million evolution points. In other words, he needed 16 million evolution points to activate the shopping center. Now is good. After completing the third mission, not only would he be able to activate the shopping center for free, he would also receive 10 million evolution points. This was already a very good reward. Thinking about this, Wang Mang did not hesitate and said, "System, I choose the third mission." At the same time, the system's familiar voice sounded. Ding. Host has successfully chosen the mission. Ding. Host, please quickly complete the mission and obtain the corresponding reward. Chapter 82. When night came, Wang Mang came out of the nest again. He went to the farm, as usual. The number of pigs sent by the farm had also increased. After Wang Fu knew that he needed more to evolve, he sent 200 pigs a day. Now, he was sending 500 pigs a day. Thus, Wang Mang was guaranteed to get 90,000 evolution points a day. Now, he was guaranteed to get around 220,000 evolution points a day. Because of this, Wang Mang still actively came to the pig pen to eat pigs every night. After eating the pigs, Wang Mang began to wander around his territory alone. In truth, Wang Mang was actually lonely deep down in his heart, because he had been living like this day after day for a few months. Even though Wang Mang's body size was increasing rapidly, it was still not enough. However, the problem was that he would be bored if he stayed alone for a long time. As for the Black Panther that accompanied him, he had already returned to his grandmother's house. This was because Wang Mang did not fall in the nest every day. A few days ago, he was still in the reservoir around the mountain. After a while, the Black Panther did not follow him. Perhaps the strong were destined to be lonely. Under the moonlight, facing the breeze of the night, Wang Mang wantonly moved his huge body. His heart was filled with sorrow. In this half a month, oh, that's not right. It should be said that ever since Wang Mang became stronger and stronger, there were no more apex predators that dared to come to his territory. Thus, in this half a month, Wang Mang would wander around his territory every night. At this time, Wang Mang saw a small honey badger biting a 3-meter-long king cobra in the forest far away. This small honey pot with a flat head and a grayish-black body was a little too ferocious. In the past, he had only seen this little guy in the animal world. It was very fierce in the African grassland. He never thought that he would see it with his own eyes one day. Needless to say, this little guy was not a little fierce. The 3-meter-long king cobra was bitten to death by this little thing in no time. Not only that, the 3-meter-long king cobra was still alive, and this little thing had already started eating it. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang moved his huge body forward with interest. He wanted to see if this honey badger was really not afraid of anyone. He was enjoying himself as he chewed on the king cobra's honey pot. When he saw Wang Mang, he was stunned. The little thing's legs stood up, and it was still eating the king cobra with its claws while it stared blankly at Wang Mang. After a while, the little thing bared its fangs at Wang Mang, looking like it was not to be trifled with. Wang Mang felt happy for no reason. He opened his bloody mouth and roared at the little thing. However, what Wang Mang didn't expect was that not only was this little thing not afraid of him, it also bared its teeth and roared at him, looking extremely fierce. "You little thing, it seems like you're really not afraid of death." Wang Mang laughed. He casually moved his tail and swept it towards the little thing. Together with the spicy strips in the little thing's hand, they all fell to the ground. Of course, Wang Mang didn't plan to kill this little thing. Otherwise, with Wang Mang's tail, not to mention this little thing, it could even break a huge tree or a big bluestone that was as thick as a person. Gee. The little thing angrily got up and ran towards Wang Mang. Not only that, this little thing ran in front of Wang Mang and wanted to jump up and hit him. However, Wang Mang's snake head and body were 7 to 8 meters tall. Therefore, this little thing couldn't hit him at all. It could only bite Wang Mang's body angrily. However, this little thing's bite force didn't affect Wang Mang at all. Therefore, after biting for a while, this little thing had no choice but to pick up the spicy strips and continue eating. However, to be able to come out from here, this little thing was indeed stupid. It wasn't afraid of anyone. Forget it. I'll bring this little thing back and treat it as my little toy. Wang Mang who suddenly had an idea, started tormenting this little thing again. Every time it was angered by him, this little thing would chase after him and beat him for a while. Every time he saw that this little thing had no willpower, Wang Mang would provoke this little thing again. Therefore, this little thing persevered and really chased him to Wang Mang's nest. It was still biting him. However, after a while, this little thing could more or less tell that this big guy didn't have any ill intentions towards it. Therefore, after a few times, this little thing stopped paying attention to Wang Mang. However, every time Wang Mang provoked it, this little thing would still roar at Wang Mang. In the blink of an eye, another 5 days passed. In these 5 days, Wang Mang felt really bored. It had almost been a month, but he still hadn't met a member of the beast god space. His little brother, Dark Light, had also died. There were only 2 giant catfish left in the reservoir waiting for him to challenge them. Moreover, Wang Mang's speed of accumulating evolution points wasn't that fast. Therefore, these 5 days passed very peacefully. It was worth mentioning that during these 5 days, Wang Mang obtained 1 million evolution points from the 500 pigs his father sent him every day. Through his own efforts, he caught a few psychic fish in the Huanshan Reservoir and obtained 3 million evolution points. Currently, Wang Mang only had 4 million evolution points. He still needed 12 million evolution points for his next evolution. Therefore, if Wang Mang wanted to evolve again, he still had a long way to go. At the same time, Wang Mang also found out that the system was cheating him. The more he evolved, the harder it was to evolve. Every time he evolved, the evolution points he needed would double. At first, Wang Mang didn't feel it. Only recently did he realize how terrifying the difficulty of evolving was. In truth, if the system didn't give him a reward, Wang Mang would have cried. Now, he only hoped that he could evolve faster and kill the giant catfish in the decisive battle. After completing the mission, he would look at the store and see if there was anything that could help him quickly become stronger. In the blink of an eye, another 10 days passed. It had already been half a month since Wang Mang's last evolution. During this half a month, it was very peaceful, unusually peaceful, extremely peaceful. His life didn't have any waves. He slept during the day, every day, ate at night. There was no sense of ritual. Only last night did Wang Mang receive some good news. After a month, his father had successfully digested that rich man's wealth. The wealth and cash that he had successfully extracted was about 5 billion. Moreover, his father knew that Wang Mang needed a large amount of evolution points. Therefore, he directly used the 5 billion to help Wang Mang evolve first. After receiving this news, Wang Mang was naturally very happy. Therefore, at night, Wang Mang couldn't wait to leave the nest. After arriving at the farm, only then did Wang Mang realize that his father had already taken action. That was because his father had sent over 10,000 pigs tonight. If it wasn't for the fact that this was a large-scale farm with 10,000 piglets and couldn't fit any more pigs, his father would have sent over even more pigs. At this moment, Wang Mang's mood, which had been gloomy for half a month, was finally lifted, because just the 10,000 pigs tonight could give him around 5 million evolution points. If he had 10,000 pigs to eat every day, Wang Mang only needed 3 consecutive nights, and he would be satisfied with evolving again. Chapter 83. When Wang Mang had swallowed 10,000 pigs, he had gained a total of 53 million evolution points. It was almost the same as what he had guessed. After swallowing 10,000 pigs, Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. Now, he only needed 20,000 more pigs to help him evolve. Thinking about this, Wang Mang's mood was very good. He moved his huge body and left. He first went to the bank of the reservoir and washed off the smell of blood on his body. Then, he returned to the nest. After returning to the lair, Wang Mang saw that the little fellow Bro Flat Top had caught a few poisonous snakes out of nowhere and was currently chewing on them with relish. Seeing that Wang Mang had returned, the little guy crawled to Wang Mang's side and continued to eat the chili strips. This was because these days, Wang Mang's relationship with the little guy was pretty good. The little guy had even placed its new home in Wang Mang's cave. Normally, when it had nothing to do, it would go to Wang Mang's territory and eat 2 chili strips. Life was very enjoyable. With the little guy's company, Wang Mang's life for the past half a month could be considered interesting. After teasing the little guy for a while, Wang Mang curled up his body and fell asleep again. It was worth mentioning that Wang Mang calculated that it had been almost 4 months. In summary, he had grown so much in the past 4 months. This was something that Wang Mang had never expected. He had never thought that there would be a day when he would become the legendary super giant python. In the blink of an eye, when Wang Mang opened his eyes again, it was already nighttime. After Wang Mang left the nest, he once again rushed to the farm. What made Wang Mang happy was that his father had prepared another 10,000 pigs for him. Thus, Wang Mang did not hold back and once again ate the 10,000 pigs. At this point, he had gained another 56 million evolution points. Now, he only needed to wait until the sky turned dark and eat the pigs. Then, he would be able to evolve again. After evolving, his body would reach a terrifying size of nearly 40 meters. At that time, it would naturally be the day of the decisive battle between Wang Mang and the giant catfish in the Huan Shanshui vault. Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not help but feel his blood boil. It had been almost a month since he last fought. Even after evolving, Wang Mang didn't have a chance to fight. Other than the 2 giant catfish in the Huanshan Reservoir, there was no other worthy opponent that could make Wang Mang fight. After all, Wang Mang's current size was too terrifying. Almost none of the ordinary creatures on the surface were his match. Oh, of course, except for the vast and endless ocean. Wang Mang was also looking forward to the ocean. However, Wang Mang also knew that when he had enough strength, it would naturally be the day when he would conquer the 4 seas. However, it was still too early for that. After all, he was only 30 meters away. Even if he entered the ocean, he might not be invincible. Just on land alone, there were all kinds of demons and monsters. Who knew what terrifying things existed in the ocean? Moreover, Wang Mang didn't believe that there wouldn't be any terrifying existences in the ocean. After all, how big was the ocean? How many unknown, mysterious existences were there? Even today's technologically advanced humans were still exploring the ocean. Because the ocean was really too big, occupying nearly 70% of the Earth's surface. One could imagine how big the ocean was. The land only occupied 30% of the Earth's surface. With such a big ocean, it wasn't too much to say that some sea creatures had become spirits, right? It couldn't be said that the creatures on land could become spirits, but the big guys in the ocean couldn't, right? It was with this kind of awe. Before Wang Mang's body size reached nearly 100 meters, he had never thought of entering the ocean. This wasn't fear of death. This was low-key and wretched development. Because wretched development had always been Wang Mang's purpose of survival. There was nothing wrong with being careful. He only had one life, and if he lost it, he might not have another. After all, ever since he became a giant python, Wang Mang had seen too many things that he had never seen before. Who knew how many monsters there were on Earth? It was precisely because he didn't know that he was in awe of nature and afraid of the unknown. After returning to the nest, Wang Mang slept for the whole day. When night fell, Wang Mang couldn't wait to leave the nest. He suppressed the excitement in his heart and came to the farm. Sure enough, another 10,000 white pigs had been prepared, waiting for him to enjoy the good fortune. Wang Mang, who had long been hungry and thirsty, rushed into the farm again and crazily slaughtered. 2 hours later, Wang Mang's huge body, covered in blood, came out of the pigsty. At this moment, Wang Mang had successfully devoured the 10,000 pigs tonight. Moreover, Wang Mang could evolve again. When he was devouring the pigs, Wang Mang heard the system notification. Thus, the amount of evolution points Wang Mang obtained had already exceeded the amount needed for evolution. Thinking about this, Wang Mang couldn't help but become excited. He couldn't wait to go to the bank of the reservoir. After washing away the smell of blood on his body, he quickly returned to the nest. After returning to the nest, Wang Mang couldn't help but say, "System, begin evolution." Following Wang Mang's words, the system's familiar voice echoed. Ding. Successfully deducted 16 million evolution points. Beginning evolution. In the next moment, Wang Mang completely lost consciousness and entered the evolution process. 2 hours later, after the evolution process ended, Wang Mang slowly woke up. After inspecting his body, Wang Mang was not surprised to discover that his body had become even thicker and larger. As for how big the changes were, Wang Mang also wanted to know. This was because every time he evolved, his strength would increase in all aspects. Thinking about this, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type. Mutated Titan Python status. Peak status. Mutated body. 39 meters long, 2 meters wide, 10,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 10,000 kilograms bite force. Speed, 93 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury special. Storage space, information detection divine ability. King's slavery evolution points. 1. 56 million/32 million shop. Not opened. Chapter 84. After reading his personal information, Wang Mang was overjoyed. Awesome. Now his body size had reached 39 meters. It had grown by 3 meters. Moreover, his weight had reached 10 tons. His weight had increased by 2 tons. In addition, his body width had reached 2 meters. It had increased by 0.4 meters. How wide was 2 meters? The height of a room door seemed to be only about 2 meters. Moreover, this was only the width of Wang Mang's body. In addition, Wang Mang's head was at least 3 meters wide. Once he opened his bloody mouth, one could imagine how terrifying the scene would be. At this moment, Wang Mang's blood was boiling. With his current strength, he could already start a fight with the giant catfish. This was because Wang Mang had long been prepared. When his body reached 39 meters, it would be the day he would fight with the giant catfish. Now was the time, and now was the time. If he wanted to continue to improve his strength, he still needed a lot of time. Moreover, his mutated Titan Python bloodline template had developed to the extreme. If he wanted to continue to evolve, he would have to buy a new bloodline template, and naturally, he would need to spend evolution points. Because of this, Wang Mang planned to wait until he killed the giant catfish before slowly evolving. At that time, he would have to change to a new template bloodline. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's cold snake eyes were full of fighting spirit. He moved his body and couldn't wait to fight with the giant catfish. However, after Wang Mang raised his head and looked outside the nest, he finally gave up on this idea. Because although the sky was not bright yet, Wang Mang guessed that it would be soon. Moreover, his battle with the 2 giant catfish in the Huanshan Reservoir would definitely not end in a short time. By then, once the sun rose, he would probably be exposed to the eyes of countless fishermen. This was not what Wang Mang wanted to see. So for the time being, he could only wait until the sky turned dark before he set off into the Huanshan Reservoir. One night was more than enough for him to fight the 2 giant catfish in Huanshan Reservoir. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang could only temporarily suppress his feelings of urgency. He sat down cross-legged and began to sleep. When night fell, Wang Mang went to the farm as usual and ate 10,000 pigs. At this point, another 5 million evolution points entered his account. After eating 10,000 pigs, Wang Mang couldn't wait to rush to the Huanshan Reservoir. After passing through the forest, Wang Mang arrived at the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir. After scaring away countless small and medium-sized animals, Wang Mang shook off the little thing on his body. "Little thing, return to the nest and wait for me." After saying that, Wang Mang's blood boiled. He twisted his huge body and entered the reservoir. His huge body twisted rapidly on the surface of the water, causing huge ripples on the surface of the water. After entering the water, Wang Mang's goal was to swim towards the western waters. This was the territory of the two giant catfish. It was also the hiding place of many big psychic fish. Thus, after entering the western waters, Wang Meng saw many big psychic fish. When these big psychic fish saw Wang Meng, they were so scared that they scattered in all directions. Moreover, there were many of them. Seeing this scene, Wang Meng couldn't help but secretly say, "After I finish dealing with the two giant catfish, where can you big psychic fish hide?" Thinking up to this point, Wang Meng's fighting spirit was high. He quickly swam in the water and quickly entered the western waters. In fact, Wang Meng had thought about whether he should fight one of the giant catfish first or both of them together. However, after thinking about it carefully, Wang Meng realized that the two giant catfish basically never left the western waters. If he wanted to fight, he could only fight with the two giant catfish at once. Since there was no way to defeat them one by one, Wang Meng gave up on this idea. At most, he would fight them head-on. The current Wang Meng was no longer who he used to be. He had also changed from a 20-meter-long giant python to a 40-meter-long giant monster. Therefore, Wang Meng was of course not afraid at all. When they first met, the difference in size was too big. At this moment, Wang Meng's swimming speed slowed down. There was no other reason, but the target he was looking for had appeared. In Wang Meng's line of sight, there was a body of water 200 meters in front of him. It was a huge black giant catfish. Its body was as big as a ball, and its body was 36 meters long. Its body was as big as a mountain, and it was like a huge cruise ship. At this moment, this huge creature that covered the entire body of water was swimming towards him at a terrifying speed. At the same time, Wang Meng was not afraid at all, and his huge body swam even faster. After a while, Wang Meng was less than 50 meters away from the huge black catfish. However, something that surprised Wang Meng happened. Just when the two were about to collide and fight, the behemoth gradually slowed down and finally came to a stop. Its pair of basketball-sized fish eyes were sizing up Wang Meng for a long time. The next moment, an old voice sounded in Wang Meng's mind. "Coexist. Share the geocentric marrow." After hearing this, Wang Meng was a little surprised. He did not expect this huge creature to not make a move. On the contrary, it actually gave in to him. However, after thinking for a while, Wang Meng knew the reason. Perhaps, last time, whether it was his size or his strength, he was not a threat to the giant catfish. But now, his size was so huge that the giant catfish was paying attention to him. In other words, it was enough to make the giant catfish feel threatened. Therefore, the giant catfish started to look at him seriously and treated him as an existence on the same level. Perhaps, if Wang Meng's size had not reached 40 meters, the giant catfish would definitely not talk nonsense with him. Thinking of this, Wang Meng could not help but sigh in his heart. Strength was respected. No matter where it was the same principle. In fact, Wang Meng's guess was not far from the answer. It was because Wang Meng's size had reached 40 meters that the giant catfish took his strength seriously. Moreover, the giant catfish felt a strong sense of threat from Wang Meng. Therefore, the giant catfish agreed to allow Wang Meng to share the benefits with them. Of course, Wang Meng did not have such thoughts, because the mission that Wang Meng chose was to kill these two giant catfish. It was destined that if Wang Meng wanted to complete the mission, it would be impossible for him to get along with the giant catfish. Moreover, sharing the benefits would not be as comfortable as enjoying alone. Thinking of this, Wang Meng's eyes turned scarlet. He replied coldly, "No need. In this big reservoir, one master is enough." Chapter 85. This giant black catfish was indeed an old monster that had lived for nearly 1,000 years. The meaning behind Wang Meng's words infuriated the giant black catfish even more. Good. It's not easy for you to reach this level. Since you don't know how to cherish it, I'll send you on your way. It's been a long time since I've eaten such a powerful python demon. I wanted to keep you alive until you're about to transform into a flood dragon before eating you. It's a pity that you've messed up our plans. You're courting death. You deserve to die." After listening to the giant black catfish's words, Wang Mang felt a burst of astonishment and shock. He didn't expect these two giant catfish to be so cunning. They actually wanted to wait until the other three pythons in the Huanshui Reservoir were about to transform into flood dragons before eating them. This was indeed to maximize the benefits. If they really ate the three pythons, the harvest would be very impressive. Thinking of this, Wang Mang had to admit that these old monsters that had lived for a long time were indeed very cunning. In the Huanshan Reservoir, the four sides seemed to be living in harmony on the surface. In fact, these two giant catfish wanted to raise pigs. Moreover, they wanted to raise them until they were fat before killing them. However, facing the giant catfish's anger, Wang Mang didn't care at all. He came here today to send these two giant catfish on their way. As for why the other giant catfish didn't come out, Wang Mang didn't care. Then he would send this giant catfish on its way first. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang used 3 skills in an instant. They were Super Self-Healing, Bloodthirsty Rage, Steel Body. After Wang Mang used the skills, his body became even darker and more dazzling. Snake scales the size of a palm were embedded on his enormous body, shining brightly like a layer of indestructible steel armor. At this moment, the giant black catfish moved. His huge body carried a huge and terrifying water current, surging towards Wang Mang. He opened his terrifyingly large mouth, attempting to swallow Wang Mang in one gulp. At the same time, the terrifying giant catfish opened its bloody mouth that was more than 10 meters long. Wang Mang could feel a terrifying suction force around him. The water around Wang Mang's body was being sucked away. Many psychic fish in the nearby waters were struggling violently. However, in the end, these psychic fish were easily sucked into this bloody mouth. On the other hand, Wang Mang's huge body was moving and was not affected by the suction force. After all, Wang Mang's eyes was there for all to see. Seeing that Wang Mang hadn't been sucked into his bloody mouth, he was shocked. The giant catfish opened its bloody mouth and swam towards Wang Mang. On the 10-meter-long mouth of the giant catfish, there were rows of teeth that were as sharp as blades and looked like sawtooth. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang quickly swam his body and nimbly avoided the giant catfish's bloody mouth. Moreover, when he swam past the giant black catfish, Wang Mang seized the opportunity to counterattack. He opened his bloody mouth, and 2 huge poisonous fangs pierced into the giant catfish's body. What made Wang Mang relieved was that although the giant black catfish's skin was as hard as rock, it was still bitten open by him. When the poisonous fangs pierced into the giant catfish's body, Wang Mang also injected the corrosive poison in the fangs into it. After Wang Mang let go of the bloody mouth, the giant black catfish struggled. Its huge body began to crazily hit the bottom of the water. The place where it hit the bottom of the water was exactly where Wang Mang injected the poisonous fangs. The thick flesh of the giant black catfish that was bitten by Wang Mang's poisonous fangs was rapidly rotting and spreading. The flesh of the wound was corroded to the point that it turned into pus and blood. After seeing the power of the corrosive poison, Wang Mang couldn't help but secretly rejoice. The power of the corrosive poison really didn't disappoint him. It was so strong that it was beyond his expectations. If they weren't fighting in the water, but on land instead, Wang Mang could totally rely on the corrosive poison to kill the giant catfish easily. But very quickly, Wang Mang realized that although his corrosive poison was very harmful, the giant catfish was much stronger than the giant catfish. However, this giant catfish was even more vicious. It directly scraped off a huge chunk of its own flesh. After the huge piece of flesh fell off the giant catfish's body, it was turned into blood by the corrosive poison and spread in the water. Then, Wang Mang saw that the giant catfish's huge wound was growing new tender flesh at a speed visible to the naked eye. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang's heart sank. The giant catfish was really not easy to deal with. Just its self-healing speed alone wasn't as fast as Wang Mang's self-healing speed, but it wasn't far from it. Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to rely on his flexible body to swim around the giant black catfish. He was looking for a way to quickly kill the giant catfish. At the same time, this giant black catfish, on the other hand, was enraged and started attacking Wang Mang again. Back and forth a few times, facing the giant catfish's attacks, Wang Mang was nimbly dodging. This made the giant black catfish extremely angry. Wang Mang was too cunning, because Wang Mang didn't fight with him face to face, nor did he fight with him in close combat. On the contrary, Wang Mang relied on his flexible body to swim around and dodge his attacks. Moreover, he didn't know what he was planning to do to him. In fact, Wang Mang was indeed looking for a way to quickly kill this big guy. As for the close combat between the two of them, fight my ass. If it was a competition of physical strength, Wang Mang would definitely not be able to win against the giant catfish. There was no doubt about this. The width of the giant catfish's body was 7 to 8 meters. Wang Mang truly felt helpless against the giant catfish's enormous body. Could it be that he had to rely on death entanglement to strangle this 180-ton giant catfish to death? That's impossible, all right? The body of the giant catfish was 7 to 8 meters wide, and its body was like a huge rubber ball. Wang Mang wanted to rely on death entanglement to kill the giant catfish. This was completely impossible. Luckily, after Wang Mang searched for a while, he finally found the giant catfish's weakness. The giant catfish's body was indeed huge, and its skin was thick. However, this guy's eyes couldn't possibly be that strong in defense, right? Thinking of this, Wang Mang immediately moved his body and attacked the giant catfish. After seeing Wang Mang swimming over, the furious giant catfish opened its mouth again and wanted to bite Wang Mang to death. However, Wang Mang still easily dodged his gaping maw and even seized the opportunity to quickly coil around his body. Wang Mang's actions made the giant catfish a little flustered, although it didn't think that Wang Mang could kill it. The problem was Wang Mang was coiled around its body. How could it attack Wang Mang? Moreover, its divine skills were all for strengthening itself and not suitable for fighting. Otherwise, the giant catfish would have used its divine skills to deal with Wang Mang. The only reason he could dominate the reservoir was because of his huge body. Good chance. Now, at this moment, Wang Mang had already found the opportunity. Then, he opened his mouth and quickly bit towards the giant catfish's eyes. Chapter 86. PFFF. Wang Mang's sharp fangs pierced through one of the catfish's eyes. Blood splattered everywhere. At the same time, Wang Mang injected a large amount of corrosive poison into his fangs. At this point, this huge catfish went completely crazy. One of the catfish's eyes was rapidly corroding into pus and blood. At the same time, the catfish began to struggle wildly. It began to scuttle around in the water, trying to shake off Wang Mang. However, not only did the catfish fail to shake off Wang Mang, but it also gave Wang Mang a chance to blind the other eye of the catfish. At this point, the catfish completely lost its vision. This also made the catfish go completely crazy. He struggled painfully and scurried around like a five-headed fly. Its eyes were also rapidly corroded by the corrosive poison. As the catfish struggled wildly, Wang Mang also opened his bloody mouth and bit the catfish's body, injecting a large amount of corrosive poison into his fangs. At the same time, in the distant waters, the other catfish that rushed over was even more shocked and angry after seeing this scene. He didn't expect that in just a moment. His brother that had accompanied him for nearly 1,000 years was about to be killed by this giant python. You deserve to die. A furious roar of mind energy was suddenly transmitted to Wang Mang's mind. Wang Mang raised his huge snake head and saw that in the distant waters, another black catfish that was 36 meters long was rushing over here quickly. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang sneered in his heart and couldn't help but think in high spirits. If these two catfish only have this much ability, then I'll send them to hell tonight. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's battle intent was awe-inspiring. Seeing this giant catfish rushing towards him, Wang Mang quickly let go of this giant catfish that was about to be killed by him. Then, Wang Mang twisted his huge body and swam towards the other giant catfish. As for the giant catfish that he had injected with a large amount of corrosive poison, it was already dead. Wang Mang had injected a large amount of corrosive poison into the catfish's head, heart, and other parts of its body. Therefore, this giant catfish was basically done for. It could only wait for its death. Therefore, Wang Mang was able to free himself to deal with the other giant catfish. Similarly, Wang Mang did not choose to fight the giant catfish head-on. Wang Mang also chose to swim. After a few exchanges, Wang Mang had a good grasp of the giant catfish's strength. Its combat power was about the same as that of the previous giant catfish. What made Wang Mang the happiest was that these two giant catfish didn't have any combat abilities. Therefore, Wang Mang was completely at ease. He could use the same method to deal with this giant catfish without any worries. 10 minutes later, Wang Mang seized the opportunity again and immediately coiled around the giant catfish. Then, Wang Mang used the same method to attack this giant catfish. This giant catfish was extremely flustered after being coiled around by Wang Mang. He hit the bottom of the water one moment and jumped out of the water the next, creating huge waves on the surface of the lake. However, no matter how he struggled, Wang Mang was not shaken off his body. Moreover, in order not to end up like his brother, he shook his head, he scuttled around in the water, and even stuck his head into the mud. He was afraid that his eyes would be bitten blind by Wang Mang. Unfortunately, no matter how the giant catfish struggled, it was useless against Wang Mang. Helpless, the giant catfish even begged Wang Mang for mercy. Wang Mang couldn't help but feel pleased with himself, but he ignored it. He kept opening his bloody mouth and biting the giant catfish. This giant catfish also struggled in pain, but to no avail. In the end, the giant catfish ended up in the same state as its brother. First, Wang Mang blinded his eyes. Then, Wang Mang injected a large amount of corrosive poison into his heart. At this point, these two giant catfish were on the verge of death. Their strength to struggle was getting weaker and weaker. It was almost dawn. These two big eyes gradually stopped struggling. At the same time, these two huge bodies gradually floated to the surface of the water. After killing the two giant catfish, Lin Fan's eyes lit up. Wang Mang felt that it was unbelievable. To be honest, the strength of these two giant catfish, it simply made his eyes pop out. They were two F***ing weak. Just a little rough skin and thick flesh. They didn't seem to have any powerful skills. At this moment, Wang Mang still felt like he was dreaming. It simply felt unreal. He didn't expect to kill these two giant catfish so smoothly. If he had known that these giant catfish were so weak, they were just tanks with rough skin and thick flesh. Wang Mang didn't even need to wait until his body size reached almost 40 meters. But what Wang Mang didn't know was that if he hadn't upgraded his poisonous fangs, he might not have been able to defeat these two giant catfish so easily. Because the corrosive poison was too strong, it could even corrode ordinary metals in an instant. The defensive power of these two giant catfish was comparable to hard rocks. Their skin was indeed rough and thick. However, if Wang Mang didn't evolve and become stronger, if he didn't increase his bite force, and if he didn't improve his strength in all aspects, then it was impossible for Wang Mang to end the battle so easily. Therefore, every time Wang Mang improved his strength, it was an all-around improvement. What surprised Wang Mang a little was that these two giant catfish's vitality was really tenacious. The two giant catfish actually tenaciously held on until dawn before they finally died unwillingly. At the same time, these two huge bodies floated on the water after they died. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang began to feel a headache. He felt very helpless because the sky was already bright. If he wanted to eat these two big guys, he would have to float to the water surface. At that time, he would be exposed under the eyes of the fishing crowd. However, to let Wang Mang give up on these two big guys? But how could Wang Mang be willing to give up on them like this? These were all evolution points. These two fellows, each of them weighed 180 tons. If he swallowed them, how many evolution points would the bodies of these two big guys give him? Although Wang Mang didn't know, he guessed that it wouldn't be a small number. Therefore, Wang Mang couldn't give up on these two giant catfish no matter what. Forget it. If I'm exposed, then so be it. In any case, I've already been exposed twice before. Moreover, in the future, when I stay in my own reservoir for a long time, I don't have to worry about being targeted on land. Thinking about this, Wang Mang moved his huge body and prepared to eat these two huge creatures. At this time, the system's familiar voice sounded again, ding. Congratulations, host. Mission completed. Successfully killed the giant catfish. Ding. Congratulations, host. Reward obtained. Free access to the shopping center. Ding. Congratulations, host. Reward obtained. 10 million evolution points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was simply bursting with joy, because this time the harvest was really big. There were simply too many benefits. Not only did he obtain 10 million evolution points, additionally, the system also rewarded him with free access to the shopping center. Of course, the current Wang Mang didn't have time to study the shopping center, because these two giant catfish's huge bodies were still waiting for him to enjoy. At the same time, Wang Mang also wanted to know, these two enormous catfish that had lived for close to 1,000 years, how many evolution points could they bring him? Chapter 87. Thinking of this, Wang Mang was very excited, because there were too many things for him to be happy about. Let's not talk about the reward first. The two huge carcasses of the giant catfish in front of him were a good reward, and from now on, he was the real overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir. From the moment he defeated and killed the two giant catfish, he was the real overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir. In the past, he could only be considered as the overlord of the reservoir. But he was not the overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir, because the giant catfish were the real overlords. But at this moment, he had killed all the existences in the reservoir that could compete with him. In the future, the resources of the psychic fish in the reservoir would truly belong to him alone. Now, just thinking about it made his heart burst with joy. Forget it, I'll eat these two giant catfish first, then I'll sort out the rewards of this battle. Thinking of this, Wang Mang looked at the carcasses of the two giant catfish on the surface of the water. The carcasses of the two giant catfish were so big that they occupied a large part of the water surface like a small cruise ship. At the same time, some psychic fish also noticed that the two giant catfish were dead. But these two giant catfish had been the overlord of the reservoir for too long, and their power was still there. Therefore, although these psychic fish wanted to eat the carcasses of the two giant catfish, they did not dare to get close. At the same time, Wang Mang twisted his huge body and swam up to the surface of the water happily. He was worried about how many people were fishing in the reservoir now. I hope there are fewer of them, Wang Mang muttered in his heart. But Wang Mang's hope was obviously going to come to nothing, because at this moment, there were already many people on the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir. At this moment, these fishermen inadvertently saw two huge black objects floating on the surface of the lake in the middle of the reservoir. For a moment, everyone was talking about it, but they wanted to see what it was, but because they were too far away, they could not see the huge objects floating on the surface of the water. Among these fishermen, there was the beautiful streamer who became famous because of Wang Mang, Xiao Su. At this moment, Xiao Su was fishing happily on the shore. At the same time, she said to the camera in the live broadcast room, "Babies, let me put it this way. This is the most amazing reservoir I've ever seen. Over the past few days, there have been a lot of giant pythons, water monsters, and even a lot of big fish. Yesterday, someone caught a nearly 2-meter-long fish in the reservoir. 2 meters. Babies in the live streaming room. Can you imagine how big it is?" Hearing the beautiful streamer's words, the atmosphere in the live broadcast room immediately changed. Gun steel, I don't want to listen to that bastard chanting. I just want to see the streamer pee in her pants. Female raid night. Streamer, don't forget your roots. Your popularity is all thanks to the giant python. Hurry up, everyone wants to see the giant python. Anti-pornography brigade. That's right. Streamer, everyone is here to watch you spray water, not to watch you fish. Tourist 7568. Excuse me, is this streamer the female lead of the giant python sect incident? Fujoshi loves abs. Upstairs, what Anaconda Gate incident? I've only heard of the Yellow Eel Gate. Pornographic photo gate? Could it be that this old lady was ignorant and inexperienced? After seeing the style of the live broadcast room, the beautiful host Xiao Su was speechless. Ever since she became popular, the style of the live broadcast room had completely changed. There were even many rich bosses who sent her private messages. They said that they wanted to see her perform snake drilling hole. The price was negotiable. If it weren't for her good temper, she would have cursed them out. What kind of people were they? How could they come up with such a perverted request? At this moment, the beautiful streamer, Xiao Su, suddenly heard a series of exclamations. F***CK. Quick, look! That black giant python has appeared again. Oh my god, there's an unknown giant black object on the water surface in the middle of the reservoir. It looks like a fish. Oh my god, could it be that the super water monster in the reservoir was killed by this super giant python? Looking at the beautiful streamer, Xiao Su was even more shocked. At this moment, on the surface of the reservoir, a huge black giant python jumped out of the water. Then, the black giant python dragged the unknown giant object into the water. Seeing this scene, Xiao Su came back to her senses and quickly turned the camera of the live broadcast room to the surface of the lake. At the same time, she explained in an excited tone, "Babies, the giant python that you want to see just appeared." According to the guesses of other fishing friends, it seems that the unknown giant black object in the water may be the water monster. I heard from other fishing friends that the water monster was probably killed by the black giant python in the reservoir. I just saw with my own eyes that the giant python dragged a huge black object into the water. Oh my god, I feel that this black super giant python is too powerful. At the same time, at this moment, the rest of the fishing crowd on the shore was also boiling and talking about it. Many of the fishermen were even seeing this super black python for the third time. At this moment, a middle-aged man said in a trembling voice, "This giant python does live in this reservoir." Another young man said with an equally excited expression, "If it weren't for the fact that my drone couldn't fly so far, I would definitely record it." The rest of the fishing crowd also spoke one after another. Damn. It seems that we can't come here to fish in the future. It feels so dangerous. Yeah, although there are many big fish in this reservoir, there are water monsters and supergiant pythons. I feel that my life is in danger when I'm fishing. Luckily, I haven't heard about this supergiant python attacking people. It's better to be safe than sorry. I feel that we can invite Bear Grylls. Isn't he known as the man at the top of the food chain? What's the use of Bear Grylls? It's useless if he comes. Why don't you see how big this giant python is? While the fishing crowd on the shore of the reservoir was still discussing spiritedly. At this moment, Wang Meng, who was in the reservoir, had been tossing and turning for a full 2 hours. He relied on the corrosive poison to devour the giant catfish. At the same time, the system's voice sounded, "Ding. Congratulations, host. Successfully devoured the fish monster giant catfish. Obtained 5 million evolution points." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng was completely stunned. He only devoured one giant catfish and obtained 5 million evolution points. Although these two catfish were unprecedentedly large in size, they were still extremely large. But wasn't it a little too valuable? What did 5 million evolution points mean? It was comparable to Wang Meng eating 10,000 pigs. However, when he thought about how these two big guys had lived for close to 1,000 years, they were extremely rare. Furthermore, it was extremely rare. Thus, Wang Meng felt relieved. After all, Wang Mang had never heard of a catfish that could grow to a size comparable to a blue whale. At the same time, Wang Mang was even more happy. He obtained 5 million evolution points from one giant catfish. His harvest from 2 giant catfish was 10 million evolution points. Didn't this mean that he was about to evolve again? Thinking about this, Wang Mang was simply too excited. He even had the urge to raise his head and laugh. This time, he had obtained 20 million evolution points. Chapter 88. Thus, Wang Mang impatiently spent another 2 hours. The giant catfish was also divided and devoured. When Wang Mang finished devouring the giant catfish, the system's familiar voice resounded frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. Devoured giant catfish. Obtained 5 million evolution points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was bursting with joy. Comfortable. Truly comfortable. At the same time, Wang Mang also wanted to see how many evolution points he had accumulated. Thinking about this, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type. Mutated Titan Python status. Peak status. Mutated body. 39 meters long, 2 meters wide, 10,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 10,000 kilograms bite force, 93 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury special, storage space, information detection divine ability, King's slavery evolution points, 26. 36 million/32,000,000 shop. Unlocked. After looking at his personal information, Wang Mang was wild with joy. As expected, his evolution was just around the corner. Thinking about this, Wang Mang could not help but feel excited. This was definitely the fastest time he had ever accumulated evolution points. As expected, every time the system issued a mission, the rewards would be bountiful. Thinking about this, Wang Mang was extremely happy. He wantonly swam around the Huanshan Reservoir. Currently, he was the true overlord of the Huanshan Reservoir. He could go anywhere he wanted. This place would be his territory in the future. It would be his territory alone. This made Wang Mang sigh with sorrow. After so long, he had finally conquered his own reservoir. In the future, he would also be the overlord of a body of water. If the current me is considered a demon's territory, I could be considered the king of a mountain, right? Wang Mang, who was in high spirits, moved his body and arrived at the Western Waters. Sure enough, not only was the area of the Western Waters incomparably vast, there were also a lot of psychic fish. It could even be said that because of Wang Mang's crazy massacre, these psychic fishes were scared to the Western Waters. Not only that, but when these big psychic fish saw Wang Mang, they were so scared that they fled in all directions. They were scurrying all over the reservoir. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang smiled proudly. This time, the entire Huanshan Reservoir has been occupied by me. Let's see where you can run to. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang's mood became even better. He was prepared to raise his butcher's knife against the psychic fish once again. Since he still lacked a few million evolution points, he would use these large spiritual fish to make up for it. Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to slaughter these psychic fish. Of course, the entire Huanshan Reservoir was his now. Wang Mang naturally would not eat all of these big psychic fishes. Thus, Wang Mang was still very gentle. He did not eat any of the big psychic fishes that were less than 5 meters. After all, there were still giant catfish eating the big psychic fishes in the reservoir before, so he did not have any misgivings. The problem now was that the entire reservoir was his now. The big psychic fishes in the reservoir had naturally become his resources. This was also the reason why Wang Mang chose to pick up his moral integrity. At the same time, following Wang Mang's crazy devouring, the system notification continuously sounded frowny face ding. Congratulations, host. You have devoured an 8-meter-long variant giant catfish. Obtained 40,000 evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have devoured a 9-meter-long giant bone-tongue fish. Obtained 50,000 evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have devoured an 11-meter-long giant bone-tongue fish. Obtained 60,000 evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have devoured a 12-meter-long variant giant catfish. Obtained 60,000 evolution points. This kind of slaughter continued until the sky turned dark. If the fishermen on the shore frequently observed, they would notice that blood would frequently appear on the surface of the water. This was completely because of Wang Mang's crazy slaughter. Only when the sky turned dark did Wang Mang hear the system notification about his evolution. In the end, Wang Mang finally recovered from the excitement of the slaughter. Could it be that I can evolve again? Wang Mang thought excitedly. At this time, the system's familiar voice sounded frowny-faced. Ding. The host's evolution points have accumulated enough. However, the host's current variant Titan Python template is unable to evolve again. Ding. Requesting the host to purchase a new template in order to complete the evolution again. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was immediately stunned. After thinking about it carefully, Wang Mang finally remembered. It seems that his body size has already grown to the limit of the variant Titan Python. Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly understood and immediately said, "System, start choosing the evolution template." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice sounded. The following templates for the host to choose have appeared. Requesting the host to choose. Name: Deep Sea Giant Python. Description: the deep sea giant python is a legendary giant python that lives in the deep sea. This kind of deep sea giant python has lived on Earth for 300 million years. Its growth limit can reach 60 meters and its weight can reach 50 tons. Price: 15 million evolution points. Name: Zhanghai Flood Dragon. Description: this is an evolved giant python. Because of the horn on its head, it is rumored to be a flood dragon. It is active in the rivers of the people and is extremely rare. Its growth limit can reach 200 meters. Price: 10 billion evolution points. Name: Nine Swimming Hell Python. Description: this is a giant python that lives in a fantasy world. Rumor has it that it came from the netherworld. Because it is incomparably fierce, even ghosts and gods fear it. It is also known as the Nine Swimming Hell Python. Its growth limit is unknown. Price: unknown. Name: Nine Colored Heaven Swallowing Python. Description: this is a giant python that lives in a Dochi world. Rumor has it that after passing through the heavenly tribulation, it can fight against the heavens and the earth. Its growth limit is unknown. Price: 10 billion evolution points. Name: Starry Sky Giant Python. Description: this is a giant python that lives in the universe. Rumor has it that it can swallow the sun and the moon when it reaches its growth limit. Its growth limit is unknown. Price: unknown. After looking at the choices given by the system, Wang Mang was completely dumbfounded. Is this a choice? There is no choice at all. This was because he could only afford the deep sea giant python. As for the other temple bloodlines, he couldn't afford them at all. Wang Mang could not help but want to curse. If he could not afford it, why did the system introduce it to him? Thinking about this, Wang Mang felt somewhat unhappy. At this time, the system's voice resounded. Frowny face host. It is recommended that you open the system store and take a look. The system store has newbie benefits. After hearing the system's notification, Wang Mang became happy. He never thought that the system store would have such benefits. Thinking about this, Wang Mang was immediately elated. He immediately said, "System, open the system store." In the next moment, a large and smooth compass appeared in front of Wang Mang. This huge, round compass looked a bit like a lottery wheel. Wang Mang carefully looked at it. It really is a lottery wheel. Additionally, there were a total of 9 prizes on the lottery wheel. Among them, there were a total of 9 prizes on the compass. They were prize, Starry Sky Giant Python, prize, Deep Sea Giant Python, prize, 10 million evolution points, prize, 100 million evolution points, prize, 10% evolution card, prize, 10% evolution card, prize, 1 million evolution points, prize, 50% evolution card, prize. Thank you for participating, prize. One more time. Chapter 89. Other than that, after looking at the 9 prizes, Wang Meng also saw that he seemed to have 2 free lottery chances. Thinking about this, Wang Meng became excited. System, the store's benefit is letting me draw twice for free? The system's familiar voice resounded. Yes, the store's newbie benefit, the host can draw twice for free. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng could not help but become happy. 2 chances. I can just randomly draw 2. For example, obtaining the star python's bloodline. This reward is not bad. Or giving me a 10% evolution card. As for why Wang Meng wanted the 10% evolution card, it was because this thing only needed 10% to evolve. For example, Wang Meng needed 32 million evolution points to evolve again. However, if he used the 10% evolution card, he would only need to spend 2 million evolution points. He could evolve again. Although a 10% evolution card could only be used once, a 10% evolution card was too awesome. Imagine, how many evolution points would Wang Meng need to evolve to the later stages? It was simply unimaginable. However, with this thing, he only needed 10% evolution points to evolve. Of course, Wang Meng did not know whether he could obtain it or not. Thus, Wang Meng impatiently said, "System, start the lottery." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice resounded. Ding. Currently drawing. As soon as the system finished speaking, Wang Meng saw the lucky roulette wheel start spinning rapidly. Give me a 10% evolution card. Oh, the Star Python template is also fine. If it's really not possible, give me 100 million evolution points. Wang Meng could not help but become nervous as he stared at the wheel. 1 minute later, the lucky wheel finally stopped spinning. Wang Meng's heart could not help but tighten. In the next moment, the system's familiar voice resounded. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained a 10% evolution card. Hearing the system's notification, Wang Meng could not help but feel gloomy. In the end, the lucky roulette wheel was firmly pinned onto the 10% evolution card. However, now that he had drawn it, Wang Meng could do nothing about it. 10% evolution card. It would also save him 10% of his evolution points. It was better than nothing. Thinking of this, Wang Meng could only comfort himself in this way. Then, Wang Meng said in his heart, "System, start the lottery again." Just as he finished speaking, the system's familiar voice sounded. Ding. Drawing in progress. Then, the wheel of fortune started spinning rapidly again. Blessed by the goddess of fortune, drop something good for me. Wang Meng was very nervous. If he didn't get anything good this time, he wouldn't have a chance to draw anything for free. 1 minute later, under Wang Meng's nervous and apprehensive mood, the wheel of fortune finally slowed down. At the same time, the system's voice sounded. Ding! Congratulations, host. Obtain Deep Sea Python Bloodline Template. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng couldn't be said to be happy, but he also couldn't be said to be disappointed. The only flaw was that he couldn't get a better prize. However, his luck wasn't too bad. At least he got a Deep Sea Python Bloodline Template for free. The Bloodline Template of the Deep Sea Python was worth 15 million. At least it was enough for him to use for now. Thinking of this, Wang Meng's mood became a lot better. Forget it, forget it. That's it. At the same time, the system's voice sounded again. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have successfully changed your template. Ding. Host's old template has been successfully sold. Obtain 10,000 evolution points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng knew that he should find a place to evolve. He didn't lack templates or evolution points to evolve. Thinking of this, Wang Meng calmed himself down. He moved his huge body and swam towards the shore. He planned to go back to the shore to eat the pigs, and then go back to the nest to evolve. 10 minutes later, Wang Mang returned to the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir. Soon after, he moved his body towards the farm. After arriving at the farm, Wang Mang found that his father had already prepared 10,000 pigs. Thus, Wang Mang impatiently went to the farm and ate the 10,000 pigs. 2 hours later, after eating the pigs, Wang Mang obtained another 5 million evolution points. Soon after, Wang Mang went to the shore of the reservoir and washed away the smell of blood on his body. After returning to the nest, Wang Mang impatiently said in his heart, "System, begin evolving." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice sounded. Ding! Successfully deducted 32 million evolution points. Beginning evolution. Following the system's voice, Wang Mang gradually lost consciousness. 2 hours later, only then did Wang Mang wake up from his evolution. First of all, his body had become much thicker. Soon after, Wang Mang discovered that his body's strength was also much stronger than before. Of course, Wang Mang wasn't too sure how much he had improved. Thus, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type, deep sea python status, adult status, healthy body, 42 meters long, 5 meters wide, 13,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 13,000 kilograms bite force, 93 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty fury special, storage space, information detection, 10% evolution card divine ability, King's slavery evolution points, 11,000/64,000,000 merchant shop, unlocked after looking at his personal information. Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. After this evolution, he had become a lot stronger. His weight had increased from 10 tons to 13 tons. It had increased by 3 tons. His body length had increased from 39 meters to 42 meters. Now he was truly a huge monster. His body width had also increased to 5 meters, although it did not seem to have increased by much too. 5 meters was already very exaggerated. If he were to lie on the ground, his huge body would be able to block the road. The current Wang Mang really wanted to find another target to fight. At the same time, Wang Mang guessed that if he were to fight against another 2 giant catfish, with his current strength, he would be able to easily get rid of the 2 giant catfish. Thinking about this, Wang Mang's mood became very good. Actually, if he were to seriously calculate the time, he had already developed wretchedly for a few months. Now, he had finally reached 40 meters. Now, with his current size, there were no creatures on land that could contend against him. With such a huge size, Wang Mang had a mysterious confidence. He felt that he was almost invincible. It could be said that the current Wang Mang had become very arrogant. Chapter 90. This feeling of invincibility made Wang Mang happy for a long time before he finally calmed down. At the same time, he also had a feeling of invincibility. After all, even the reservoir was taken back by him. Now, it seemed like he was about to reach the peak of his life, right? Oh no. Based on the current situation, at most, he could only be considered to be living a well-off life. Thinking of this, Wang Mang once again told himself not to be too arrogant. However, with his current size, it was indeed very arrogant. He felt that on land, he should be the biggest python, right? Thinking of this, Wang Mang could not hide the pride in his heart. Looking at the sky gradually brightening outside the nest, Wang Mang also gave up on the idea of going out. He had originally planned to find a better lair. This was because the current nest was a little too crowded for Wang Mang. As his body continued to grow, the environment he lived in would naturally be different. Forget it. I'll think of a way to find a better nest on land at night. After muttering to himself, Wang Mang looked at the little fellow and suddenly had an idea. If this little fellow ate the psychic fish, would its intelligence increase? After remembering this sudden idea in his heart, Wang Mang curled up into a ball and fell into a deep sleep. When night came, Wang Mang opened his cold snake eyes and prepared to leave the nest. At this time, the little fellow was chirping nonstop and immediately got up to follow behind him. Seeing this, Wang Mang did not mind. The longer this little fellow was with him, the more it liked to follow him. Now, he was used to the little fellow's existence. After leaving the nest, Wang Mang began to look for a new nest. The nest he needed was best in the shape of a cave, and the bigger the cave, the better. After all, Wang Mang's body was 5 meters wide and more than 40 meters long. An ordinary cave would not be able to accommodate a giant like Wang Mang. Another factor to consider was that the nest could not be too far away from the farm. If it was too far away, it would be inconvenient for him to go to the farm every night. Therefore, this time, Wang Mang searched for a long time before he found a cave that looked decent. This was a cave that leaned against the mountain. Weeds grew outside the cave, almost covering the entire cave. After finding the cave, Wang Mang was just about to enter when he heard the roar of a bear coming from the cave. A 3-meter-tall, dark-skinned bear rushed out of the cave. The originally aggressive black bear was stunned when it saw Wang Mang at the entrance of the cave. His originally ferocious and terrifying posture immediately shrank into a ball and let out a whimper. Its black eyes were filled with fear. Seeing this, Wang Mang was speechless. Who said the bear was stupid? She knew how to be afraid, okay? Thinking of this, Wang Mang thought to himself, I'm in a good mood today. I'll spare your bear life. After that, Wang Mang ignored the black bear and entered the cave. Seeing that Wang Mang did not attack it, the black bear was very happy and ran away. As for the fact that the nest was occupied compared to its life, it was a small problem. Obviously, all living things had spirits. Animals were not stupid. Perhaps their intelligence was not very high, but they were definitely not stupid. At this moment, after entering the cave, Wang Mang looked around and was very satisfied. The entrance of the cave was about 3.5 meters wide. The inside of the cave was even more spacious. The only imperfection was that there was only one entrance to the cave. However, Wang Mang was still very satisfied. From now on, this will be my nest. This place is not too far from the farm, and not too far from the reservoir. Not bad. Let's settle here. Wang Mang nodded his head in satisfaction. Other than the piles of animal bones, the cave was very clean. After confirming the location of a new nest, Wang Mang came out of the cave and hurried to the farm with the little fellow's followers. After arriving at the farm, Wang Mang ate another 10,000 pigs and successfully obtained 5 million evolution points. Afterwards, Wang Mang left the farm in satisfaction. He then went to the reservoir and washed the blood off his body. After washing off the blood on his body, Wang Mang entered the reservoir. He wantonly swam in the reservoir and patrolled his territory. At this time, Wang Mang saw a huge eagle in the sky. It spread its 4-meter-long wings and circled in the sky. It even let out an ear-piercing cry, "Gio Gio." Seeing this scene, Wang Mang raised his large serpent head, somewhat puzzled. At this time, Wang Mang's mind sent a mental message. Where is the giant catfish king? Wang Mang's cold snake eyes stared intently at old eagle in the sky after hearing the meaning of this mental wave. At the same time, Wang Mang opened his mouth and replied, "Why are you looking for the giant catfish king?" The eagle in the sky sent a mental message. You are the giant catfish king's subordinate. Go and inform the giant catfish king that tomorrow is our tree demon king's 3,000th birthday. Don't forget to send a congratulatory gift. Hearing this, Wang Mang could not help but suck in a breath of cold air. 3,000th birthday? Didn't the tree demon king that the eagle spoke of already lived for 3,000 years? F***CK. Didn't this mean that the tree demon existed in the Qin dynasty? No, it even existed before the Qin dynasty? Thinking about this, Wang Mang was even more shocked. It had at least 3,000 years of cultivation. This tree demon probably became a spirit in ancient times, right? Otherwise, why would it ask the two giant catfish kings to send a congratulatory gift? Thinking about this, Wang Mang knew that he could not afford to offend this antique that had lived for 3,000 years. Before knowing its strength, it was best not to offend this so-called tree demon king. Thinking about this, Wang Mang replied helplessly, "But the two giant catfish kings are already dead." "What? Dead?" "Those two giant catfish kings have already lived for thousands of years. How could they die so easily?" Old Eagle, who was circling in the sky, almost couldn't help but fall into the water. Clearly, he found this inconceivable. Facing the eagle's question, Wang Mang was speechless. He could not possibly say that he killed them. However, without waiting for Wang Mang to reply, the eagle sent a mental message. "Since the two giant catfish kings are dead, then this is your territory? That's right. Send a subordinate with me tomorrow to send a congratulatory gift. Don't try to fool the tree demon king with some lousy stuff. Otherwise, if the tree demon king gets angry, you're dead." Little Python King, let me tell you, even the few flood dragons in the Chiantang River and the many small demons in the Daxing and Mountain do not dare to act rashly in front of our king. Chapter 91. Hearing this, Wang Mang was secretly shocked. He did not expect so many monsters to exist. Just from this message alone, he could tell that there were quite a number of demons in the Red Empire. Furthermore, for the old eagle to warn him, it was likely that they were no ordinary demons. Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt helpless. He had just evolved to 40 meters. He had not even started to be high-spirited. Now, in the eagle's mouth, he was just a small python monster. To be honest, this was a blow to Wang Mang's confidence. Originally, Wang Mang thought that he was almost invincible, but from an eagle's tone, he was thinking too much. Were there really demon dragons in the Chiantang River? Dragons? Of course, Wang Mang knew. This was an evolved creature that evolved from pythons. Dragons were also known as the creatures that most resembled dragons, but they were definitely not dragons. As for dragons, Wang Mang only had a rough impression of them from watching movies. He had never seen one in real life, not even a dragon. But Wang Mang knew that dragons were not something he could provoke at the moment. Not only dragons, he might not even be able to provoke dragons. Flood dragons evolved from pythons, and these fellows who became flood dragons obviously wanted to transform into dragons. However, it was obviously not possible to become dragons. Even now, Wang Mang still remembered the words of the old cultivator he killed. Now that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was thin, it could not support these dragons to become dragons. Moreover, the system said that the spiritual energy of heaven and earth was extremely thin. It was hard to even see monsters, and to want to become dragons was simply a dream. Therefore, Wang Mang did not have much thoughts about becoming a dragon, as long as it did not affect his growth. So what if he stayed as a python? But on second thought, Wang Mang felt a headache. He did not have any treasures to give to this so-called tree demon king. Even if he did have treasures, he would not be willing to give them to other monsters. Wouldn't it be better for him to enjoy it alone? Thinking of this, Wang Mang replied to the eagle above his head, "Brother Eagle, it's not that I want to offer up my treasures. I really don't have any treasures that I could take out." Wang Mang's words angered the eagle, and it immediately replied in an angry voice, "All right, I asked you to send a birthday gift, and you dare to refuse? I'm going to report this to the Treant King and teach you a lesson. You little python demon, you actually don't know how to appreciate kindness." With that, the big eagle prepared to flap its wings and leave. Seeing this, Wang Mang hurriedly replied, "Brother Old Eagle, please wait. Brother Old Eagle, give me some suggestions. I really don't know what treasure to give." Listening to Wang Mang's tone, he did not seem to be lying. After circling for a while, the eagle's huge body landed on Wang Mang's body and said, "Little demon python, what do you have to give me?" After hearing this, how could Wang Mang not understand that this old eagle wanted benefits? The problem was that Wang Mang really did not know what benefits this old eagle wanted. After all, this was his first time in the demon circle, and he was practically a greenhorn. Wang Mang could only ask probingly, "Brother Old Eagle, what do you like? What do you like?" After staring at Wang Mang for a while, the eagle said, "I see that there are quite a few psychic fish demons in this reservoir. Can you catch a few for me to try?" Wang Mang was speechless for a while and could only catch 2 7-meter-long psychic fish for the eagle. After seeing the psychic fish, the eagle demon directly pecked open the psychic fish's stomach. It took out 2 round beads from the big psychic fish's stomach and swallowed them. Then, it said with satisfaction, "Actually, the gifts that the giant catfish demon gave to the tree demon king in the past were just for show. But this time is different. This is the Treant King's 3000th birthday. Of course, the gift can't be too bad. How about this? Brother Giant Python, since you don't have any treasures, you can go take a look on the way. It just so happens that I need to inform an old Treant demon and a tiger demon. Their territory is not far from here. Brother Giant Python, why don't you come with me to see what they have sent, and then think a way to get a gift?" Hearing this, Wang Mang's eyes lit up. If that was the case, wouldn't he have successfully infiltrated the demon circle? At the same time, he could also meet this so-called Treant King, as well as the other demons. This was indeed a very good opportunity, and he could also see the strength of these demons. With this thought, Wang Mang said with interest, "All right, Brother Old Eagle, I'll set off with you." Seeing that Wang Mang was willing to listen to its suggestion, the eagle demon was even more satisfied with Wang Mang. "Then let's set off." Hearing this, Wang Mang was a little worried. "Brother Old Eagle, do you think we should take the mountain forest route? It wouldn't be good if we were discovered by humans." Old Eagle flapped its wings nonchalantly. "Don't worry, we demons won't easily interact with humans. Moreover, the route we're active on is basically devoid of human habitation. In today's world, the fate of empires is too strong. It's best that we demons don't provoke these humans." Hearing this, Wang Mang secretly heaved a sigh of relief and then set off with Old Eagle. Fortunately, Wang Mang's speed was not bad, and his huge body passed through the mountains and forests. After a full 2 hours, only then did Wang Mang arrive at a large mountain. At this moment, Wang Mang was already 100 miles away from his territory. Once he entered this mountain forest, Wang Mang could sense a strong aura in this mountain forest. At this moment, Wang Mang also stopped and saw the eagle continue to circle in the air, crying out. Not long after, a 7-meter-long multicolored tiger appeared from a cave at the peak of the mountain. It leaped horizontally, and its speed was astonishing. With a leap, it could actually cover more than 10 meters. In a short while, he arrived at Old Eagle's location. At the same time, Wang Mang also realized that the giant multicolored tiger's aura was too strong. It was even stronger than the 5 giant Manchurian tigers in the beast god space. Moreover, it could even give Wang Mang a faint sense of danger. This made Wang Mang not dare to underestimate the giant multicolored tiger in front of him. Moreover, after careful observation, Wang Mang realized that the giant multicolored tiger gave off a ferocious aura that was too strong. It was completely incomparable to the 5 Manchurian tigers in the beast god space. "This is a tiger demon," Wang Mang muttered to himself as he sized up the giant tiger. At this moment, Wang Mang saw the giant multicolored tiger speak in human language. "Thank you, Brother Eagle, for informing me. The gift has already been prepared for the Tree Demon King." Hearing this, Old Eagle nodded in satisfaction and said, "Brother Giant Python is also going to celebrate the Tree Demon King's birthday like you." After hearing Old Eagle's words, this terrifyingly large multicolored tiger finally looked at Wang Mang. After seeing Wang Mang, the giant multicolored tiger was also very shocked. Wasn't he too freaking big? This python demon's cultivation was probably close to 2,000 years old, right? Moreover, it felt a fatal threat from Wang Mang's body. Therefore, the giant multicolored tiger was very friendly to Wang Mang and said, "Greetings, Brother Giant Python. To be able to meet Brother Giant Python, this little demon is truly fortunate." The giant, multicolored tiger's enthusiasm and friendliness were beyond Wang Mang's expectations. After regaining his senses, Wang Mang replied with the same enthusiasm. Brother Shanjun, our territories are very close to each other. If you have time, you should visit each other more often. After all, one should not hit a smiling person. However, what Wang Mang did not know was that, after hearing his words, the giant multicolored tiger was no longer happy. In fact, the giant multicolored tiger was even more frightened. That was because he did not expect Wang Mang's territory to be so close to him. What if Wang Mang wanted to expand his territory? Wouldn't he be done for? Moreover, this guy invited me to his territory as soon as we met. This guy must be up to no good. He can't be thinking of eating me, right? The bewildered Shanjun had already made a decision in his heart. He had to move. He had to move as soon as possible. The sooner the better. Chapter 92. If Wang Mang knew what the tiger was thinking, he would obviously tell the tiger that he was overthinking. Under Wang Mang's enthusiastic response, the big multicolored tiger replied with a smile. Of course, of course. Hearing that, Wang Mang nodded with satisfaction. Then, he asked enthusiastically, Brother Shanjun, what kind of birthday gift have you prepared? The big multicolored tiger's heart skipped a beat. In the face of Wang Mang's question, he answered honestly, Brother Giant Python, you must be joking. The birthday gift I prepared for the Tree Demon King is a 500-year-old Lingji. At this point, Wang Mang could clearly hear the pain in the big multicolored tiger's voice. Wang Mang, who was suddenly enlightened, immediately knew what he should give. Spiritual items of heaven and earth were rare treasures that were hard to come by. The problem was that Wang Mang really did not have any spiritual items of heaven and earth. Then, Wang Mang turned his attention to the big multicolored tiger. He said enthusiastically, Brother Shanjun, do you have any extra spiritual items of heaven and earth? I can give them to the Tree Demon King as a birthday gift. Hearing that, the big multicolored tiger secretly felt bitter. He even wanted to curse. Do you really think that spiritual items of heaven and earth are common goods? Even if I have extra, why should I give them to you? Isn't it better if I keep them for myself? Of course, although that was what the big multicolored tiger thought, he did not dare to say it out loud. He did not want to offend Wang Mang. At least, he could not afford to offend Wang Mang. Their strengths were not on the same level. Therefore, the big multicolored tiger could only smile brightly and say, Brother Giant Python, I have a 600-year-old Chinese knotweed here. If Brother Giant Python needs it, I'll give it to you. Hearing that, Wang Mang was overjoyed. He was just worried about not having a birthday gift. Not bad, not bad. This big multicolored tiger demon was very sensible. With that thought, Wang Mang said enthusiastically, Then I won't refuse Brother Shanjun's kindness. The gigantic tiger demon who felt bitter in his heart could only say, Brother Anaconda, give me a moment. I'll be right back. With that, the big multicolored tiger demon turned around and leaped back into the cave. Not long after, the tiger returned with a wooden box in its mouth. Wang Mang was naturally overjoyed. Satisfied, he said, If that's the case, thank you, Brother Shanjun. After saying that, Wang Mang did not take the box. Although he had a storage space to store things, he did not want to reveal it in front of these monsters. At this point, Wang Mang was in a good mood and set off with Lord Hushan. Under the guidance of Old Eagle, they arrived at the territory of an old tree demon. The old tree demon's territory was not far from Lord Hushan's territory, and it was also less than 100 miles away from Wang Mang's territory. It was worth mentioning that this old tree demon was an old locust tree demon. Its main body was very large, with a diameter of 1 meter and a height of more than 30 meters. If one looked at its appearance, one would not be able to tell that this old tree demon was actually a monster. This was because its appearance was too ordinary. It looked like an old tree and definitely did not look like a monster. If this old tree did not speak human language, Wang Mang would have been deceived by this old tree demon. This old locust tree demon's appearance was really too inconspicuous. However, Wang Mang learned from Lord Hushan that this old tree demon's cultivation was higher than his. It had been 500 years. In addition, Wang Mang also learned from Lord Hushan that the strength of monsters was divided. The strength of monsters was also divided into realms. They were psychic, spirit, demon, great demon, and earth immortal. As the saying goes, it takes 10 years for an animal to become psychic, 100 years to become a spirit, 300 years to become a demon, 1,000 years to become a great demon, 3,000 years to become a demon king, and 9,000 years to become an earth immortal. In addition, Lord Hushan also told him that in addition to cultivation realms, monsters were also divided into strong and weak. However, the higher the cultivation of a monster, the stronger it was. In addition, there had not been an earth immortal monster for a long time. According to Lord Hushan's explanation, there were earth immortals during the ancient Qin dynasty. As for now, according to Lord Hushan's estimation, there were no such existences now. At this point, Wang Mang finally had a clear understanding of the strength of monsters today. At the same time, Wang Mang was very curious about what level his strength had reached among the monsters. Thinking of this, on the way to the birthday celebration, Wang Mang quickly asked the system in his heart, "System, what level am I?" The next moment, the system's familiar voice sounded. Ding. Detecting the host's strength. Beginning calculation and evaluation. Ding. Detection successful. Please check your personal information. Hearing this, Wang Mang quickly said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, Wang Mang found that his personal information page had changed. Host. Wang Mang type. Deep Sea Giant Python status. Adult cultivation experience. 1,800 years body shape. 42 meters long, 5 meters wide. 13,000 kilograms weight combat strength. 13,000 kilograms bite force. 93 kilometers per hour skills. Death coil. Corrosive poison. Skin camouflage. Steel body. Super healing. Water breathing. Bloodthirsty. Fury special. Storage space. Information detection. 10% evolution card divine ability. King's slavery evolution points. 15. 5 million/64 million shop. Unlocked after looking at his personal information. Only then did Wang Mang come to a realization. His strength was comparable to a monster with 1,800 years of cultivation experience. According to the system's explanation, he did not need a realm. As long as he continued to evolve, he could continue to grow stronger. As for the 1,800 years of cultivation experience, it represented his strength. It was equivalent to a monster with 1,800 years of cultivation experience. Thinking of this, Wang Mang felt happy. The system's conditions for him to evolve were very rough, so he did not need to worry too much. Moreover, if he walked the path of a monster's cultivation, after becoming a 1,000-years-old monster, he would need to go through the heavenly tribulation. This was also the reason why Wang Mang was not interested in walking the path of a monster's cultivation. What if he was targeted by the heavens and was directly struck to death by the heavenly tribulation? Wang Mang did not think that he would be lucky enough to not be struck to death by the heavenly tribulation every time. He also did not think that he was the protagonist of the heavenly tribulation. On the way, Wang Mang's interest was piqued. He used information detection on Lord Hushan. In the next moment, Lord Hushan's information appeared in front of him. Target: Lord Hushan cultivation experience. 1,008 years realm. Early great monster body shape. 7. 5 meters long. 2. 5 meters tall. 900 kilograms weight divine ability. Tiger roar bewildering evaluation. Threat level is average. After looking at Lord Hushan's information, Wang Mang understood why this guy was so friendly to him. This Lord Hushan's strength was clearly far from his own. No wonder he was so friendly to him. Your Majesty Giant Python, Our Majesty said that you should visit more often when you have time. Our Majesty will definitely welcome you with open arms. At this time, the cheetah demon sent by the old locust tree demon fawned over Wang Mang. Hearing this, Wang Mang indifferently glanced at the cheetah demon sent by the old locust tree demon and said, "If I have time, I will visit." After that, Wang Mang ignored the cheetah demon. This little demon was not qualified to talk to him. The only ones who were qualified to talk to Wang Mang were his two neighbors, Lord Hushan and the old locust tree demon. Seeing that Wang Mang ignored him, the cheetah demon was embarrassed, but he did not dare to offend Wang Mang. He was just a little demon that had lived for more than 500 years. He was indeed not qualified to talk to Wang Mang and Lord Hushan. If not for the fact that he was sent by the old locust tree demon to deliver a congratulatory gift, he would not have been qualified to travel with Wang Mang and Lord Hushan. In an instant, the python, tiger, and leopard all lowered their heads and hurried along with the eagle and the little demon in the sky. 5 hours later, under the eagle's lead, Wang Mang came to a primitive forest. In this primitive forest, there were many trees and lush greenery. At the same time, Wang Mang could feel that there were many powerful auras in this forest. Not long after, Wang Mang saw that in the forest ahead, there were hundreds of demons gathered. There were all kinds of demons. They surrounded a towering tree and whispered to each other. It was very lively. With the arrival of Wang Mang and the others, the hundreds of demons all looked over. Chapter 93. Among these monsters, there were simply too many of them. There were weasels, wolves, dogs, centipedes, cows, sheep, pigs, rabbits, crocodiles, and so on. There were even a few snake demons and python demons. In short, there were a lot of these monsters, and their bodies were also very large. For example, the python demon that Wang Mang was very concerned about had also reached a length of more than 30 meters. There was even a python demon that had reached a length of about 40 meters. This python demon was snow white all over, and its width was at most 2 meters. Its appearance was uniform and beautiful, very similar to the whitewater lord that Wang Mang encountered in the reservoir. The rest of the python demons that were more than 30 meters long were also not to be underestimated. Apart from that, what made Wang Mang extremely surprised was that there was actually a stone demon. This stone demon was 7 or 8 meters tall, as if it was formed by stone men. Not only that, when Wang Mang was sizing up this stone demon, these monsters were also sizing up Wang Mang and the others, including the stone demon. Moreover, Wang Mang also felt a strong sense of threat from this stone demon, even stronger than Lord Hushan. This made Wang Mang couldn't help but secretly use information detection. Then, this stone demon's information appeared in front of his eyes. Target, Sure How Cultivation, 2,300 Years Realm. Middle Stage, Great Demon's Eyes, 8 meters tall magical ability. Rock Fusion Evaluation, extremely threatening. After reading the information, Wang Mang secretly nodded. This stone demon's strength was indeed not to be underestimated. It was simply much stronger than Lord Hushan. Its cultivation was even 500 years higher than Wang Mang's. It was no wonder Wang Mang felt a strong sense of threat from the other party. At this time, Wang Mang's line of sight suddenly saw 2 women in plain clothes. After seeing these 2 women, Wang Mang was completely stunned. He was sure that he didn't see wrong. These 2 women were standing next to the tree demon. Their faces were plain but beautiful, and their figures were wonderful and full. After seeing these 2 women, Wang Mang was even more confused. How could there be humans in this place where monsters gathered? At this time, Lord Hushan obviously noticed Wang Mang's gaze and whispered beside Wang Mang, "Brother Giant Python, don't be offended. These 2 humans are servants of the Tree Demon King. The Tree Demon King likes humans, so every once in a while, there will be monsters who are lucky enough to catch humans and offer them to the Tree Demon King." Hearing this, Wang Mang replied in a low voice, "That towering tree is the Tree Demon King." "Yes, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, King, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, and Lord Hushan. Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, Hushan, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan." Lord Hushan, Lord Hushan, Huanshan Reservoir's giant python demon, respectively, sent a 500-year-old Lingji and a 600-year-old Chinese knotweed, wishing the tree demon king good fortune and longevity. As he spoke, Lord Hushan strode forward. The two women beside the towering tree immediately came forward to receive the gift box respectfully. At the same time, Wang Mang saw a human face appear on the trunk of the towering tree. It was a benevolent-looking old man. He smiled and said, "Good. Thank you for your concern, Shanjun. However, this little friend looks a little unfamiliar." Looking at the kind old man's face on the trunk, Wang Mang immediately felt a sense of crisis, as if he was being watched by a terrifying existence. Faced with the Tree Demon King's inquiry, Wang Mang honestly said, "Tree Demon King, when I took over the Huanshan Reservoir, the giant catfish demon was already dead." Hearing this, the Tree Demon King smiled kindly and said, "Young friend, don't be nervous. Since the giant catfish demon is dead, the territory will naturally belong to the capable. Young friend, it's your first time taking over the Huanshan Reservoir, and you're able to send me a birthday gift. I'm very satisfied. If you run into any trouble in the future, you can come to me." Wang Mang nodded excitedly and said, "Thank you, Tree Demon King." Of course, Wang Mang did not take it seriously. Lord Hushan had already told him that monsters usually followed the law of the jungle. If you were weak, even if you died, no one would care and no monster would stand up for you. Of course, if you were a close friend in private, that was an exception. Therefore, after Wang Mang and Lord Hushan delivered their gifts, they walked towards the crowd of monsters. Of course, after entering the place where the monsters gathered, Wang Mang found that there were many small groups of monsters. They were usually in groups of 3 to 5, and only monsters who were close to each other would gather together. Therefore, Wang Mang, Lord Hushan, and Cheetah formed a small group. In addition, Wang Mang found that after they delivered their birthday gifts, many more monsters came one after another. At the same time, Wang Mang secretly used information detection on the Tree Demon King. The Tree Demon King's information immediately appeared in Wang Mang's mind. Target: Tree Demon King. Cultivation experience: 3,500 years. Realm: Early Stage Demon King. Size: 115 meters tall. Magic: White Mist Mystifying Track, 10,000 Ghosts Devouring God, Broken Wood Rebirth. Evaluation: Lethal Threat. After reading the Tree Demon King's information, Wang Mang was even more shocked. This Tree Demon King was indeed not simple. It had been 3,500 years. That meant that this Tree Demon King had been a Demon King for 500 years. Only now did it reveal that it had just become a Demon King. Just as Wang Mang was secretly shocked, a cold snort came from beside him. How dare a person with scales and armor stand next to me? Wang Mang looked towards the source of the voice and saw a 5-meter-tall, mighty and handsome giant golden condor proudly raising its neck as it mocked and ridiculed him. After seeing the giant golden eagle, Wang Mang's heart sank, and he felt very angry and puzzled. He thought to himself, "I didn't King provoke you." Of course, Wang Mang believed that among all the demons present, there were not many who could threaten him. Therefore, Wang Mang did not take the golden eagle seriously. He immediately said in a cold tone, "You feathered beast, how dare you talk to me like that? Good. You're just a little python monster. How dare you provoke me?" Wang Mang's words obviously angered the golden eagle. It looked at Wang Mang with a pair of sharp eyes full of killing intent. Hearing that, Wang Mang was so angry that he laughed and immediately prepared to spray venom to kill this beast. Wang Mang really did not take a little golden eagle seriously. At this time, Hushan hurriedly pulled it back and said in a low voice, "Brother Giant Python, don't be impatient. It's more important to celebrate the Tree Demon King's birthday first. It's not too late to deal with this guy later." Hearing that, Wang Mang held back his anger. Otherwise, he would have killed this feathered beast immediately. Seeing that Wang Mang did not dare to make a move, the giant golden eagle proudly raised its neck and said to Wang Mang disdainfully, "If it weren't for the Tree Demon King's birthday, I would have killed you, little python monster, right now." Chapter 94. The fury in Wang Mang's heart burned even more fiercely, and he couldn't help but want to attack. At this time, Lord Hushan quickly advised, "Brother Giant Python, calm down. Please don't attack. Wait until the celebration is over." Hearing this, Wang Mang suppressed his anger and coldly stared at the golden eagle. He coldly said, "All right, I'll wait for you after the celebration is over." "Wait for me? Wait for me to kill you?" The golden eagle proudly raised its chin and spoke in an arrogant and disdainful tone. Wang Mang simply ignored the golden eagle. If he continued to talk, he would not be able to control himself and would attack. The golden eagle's arrogant attitude made Wang Mang angry. However, it would not be too late to deal with it later. Seeing that Wang Mang did not attack, Lord Hushan let out a sigh of relief and changed places with Wang Mang. At the same time, Wang Mang also noticed that many demons were sizing him up. It was clear that he had attracted their attention. Seeing this, Wang Mang did not care. There were not many demons that were worthy of his attention. Those that were worthy of Wang Mang's attention could be counted on one hand. It was clear that the number of demons that personally came was very small. Perhaps most of the greater demons had sent their subordinates. Only a few greater demons had personally come. The only ones that could threaten Wang Mang were the stone demon, the white python demon, and a few other python demons. There were even fewer targets that were worthy of Wang Mang's attention. Among the demons present, only the stone demon and the king tree demon were worthy of Wang Mang's attention. At the same time, the system's voice echoed in Wang Mang's mind. Ding! Detected that the host has been seriously provoked. The host is given the following mission to choose from. Mission 1. Facing the king tree demon's probing. Choose to remain silent and curry favor with it. Mission time. Choose to receive the reward. Mission reward. 10 million evolution points. Mission 2. Facing the king tree demon's probing. Teach the golden eagle a lesson and offend it. Mission time. 24 hours mission reward. 20 million evolution points. Mission 3. Face the Trant King's probing. Kill the golden eagle and infuriate it. Mission time, 24 hours. Quest reward, 30 million evolution points. 1 basic lottery ticket. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang suddenly understood. No wonder, he said that he didn't seem to have offended this golden eagle. So this golden eagle was actually sent by the Trant King to test him? However, the choice of the 3 missions made Wang Mang somewhat hesitant. The first mission was obviously impossible for him to choose. After all, Wang Mang had always had a bad temper. He wouldn't let himself suffer in order to please others. However, if he didn't choose the first mission, the other 2 missions were to offend the other party. This was also one of the things that Wang Mang was struggling with. To be honest, he originally thought that he would encounter many powerful demons. However, the ones who came for the birthday celebration were all lesser demons. He did not fear them at all, but this Trant King was different. His true form was over 100 meters tall. Moreover, he had 3,500 years of cultivation. How could such an existence be weak? Even if he closed his eyes and guessed, he would know how terrifying it was. Therefore, Wang Mang was also struggling with whether or not to offend the other party. Because once he chose to offend the other party, Wang Mang had always offended the other party to the death. After all, the second and third missions were to offend the other party. Once Wang Mang did not choose the first mission, he would choose the one with the most rewards. In any case, if he had to offend the other party, he would offend the other party even more. It didn't matter whether the reward was rewarded or not. The main thing was that he couldn't swallow this anger. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's heart hardened. He quickly made a decision and said in his heart, "System, I choose the third mission. Since I'm going to offend the other party, I might as well offend the other party even more." In the next moment, the system's voice sounded. "Ding! Host has successfully chosen the mission. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to obtain the reward." After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang's heart gradually calmed down. He had already made his choice. After the birthday celebration, he would kill this golden eagle. Who told this golden eagle to recklessly provoke him? The key was that there was a reward. Wang Mang did not care who he offended. Thinking of this, Wang Mang coldly glanced at the golden eagle. But the other party immediately raised its neck proudly and looked at him with disdain. Its attitude was very arrogant. 5 hours later, the monsters that were supposed to arrived one after another. As for the so-called birthday celebration, it was the Tree Demon King inviting a group of monsters to eat some precious fruits and wine. The flesh and blood of some psychic animals were placed on the table for the monsters present to enjoy. As for Wang Mang, he did not care at all. The amount of flesh and blood of these spiritual beasts was not enough for him at all. Therefore, Wang Mang also ate some symbolically, and the birthday celebration was considered to be over. After the monsters dispersed, Lord Hushan prepared to return home with Wang Mang, because after interacting with Wang Mang for some time, he also found that Wang Mang was easy to talk to, so he had already dispelled the idea of moving. "Brother Giant Python, let's go back together." At this time, Lord Hushan warmly invited. Wang Mang was just about to speak when the golden eagle hovered in the air and shouted, "Little python demon, come here, I will take your life." Hearing this, Wang Mang did not talk nonsense and directly moved his huge body to the open space in the distance. Then, Wang Mang raised his huge snake head and looked coldly at the golden eagle in the sky. He said coldly, "If you are not afraid of death, come here as soon as possible." Seeing this scene, the huge golden eagle hovering above his head sneered, "Then I will fulfill your wish." After that, he spread his wings of more than 10 meters and swooped down from above. His 2 sharp claws went straight to Wang Mang's snake eyes. "Brother Giant Python, be careful." Lord Hushan was shocked. But Wang Mang, who had been prepared for a long time, did not panic at all. His cold snake eyes stared coldly at the golden eagle. When the giant golden eagle swooped down, less than 10 meters away, Wang Mang opened his bloody mouth. Poochie! 2 black corrosive poisons were spat out from Wang Mang's bloody mouth. Seeing this scene, the golden eagle was shocked, but it was too late to dodge. After Wang Mang's corrosive poison shot at the golden eagle let out a sad cry. Then its huge body fell to the ground beside Wang Mang. It was screaming in pain on the ground. "Ah, despicable villain, you actually used poison." Hearing this, Wang Mang sneered in his heart and was ready to swallow the huge golden eagle. At this moment, not far away, seeing this scene, the Tree Demon King was also shocked. After coming back to his senses, the Tree Demon King hurriedly shouted, "Little friend, stop. Please spare its life." After all, this golden eagle was his subordinate. Of course, he had to protect the golden eagle. But what made the Tree Demon King furious was that the python demon acted as if it did not hear him. It even opened its bloody mouth and swallowed the huge golden eagle in front of him. At the same time, after Wang Mang ate the golden eagle, the system's voice sounded frowny-faced ding. "Congratulations, host. Devoured the golden eagle king. Obtained 5 million evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. Mission completed. Ding. Congratulations, host. Obtained 30 million evolution points. Ding. Congratulations, host. Obtained beginner lottery ticket X1. Chapter 95. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was overjoyed. He never thought that the Golden Condor King would be worth so many evolution points. 5 million. It must be known that the giant catfish monster was only worth 5 million evolution points. However, the giant catfish monster was so big that Wang Mang could understand. However, the Golden Condor King's body was much smaller. Of course, Wang Mang was more than happy. If the evolution rate of monsters was not based on their body size, then the evolution points would be given according to their strength. This was because the giant catfish monster was a great monster and the Golden Condor King was also a great monster. If that was the case, then a great monster would be worth 5 million evolution points? Thinking about this, Wang Mang became excited. It was as if he had found a way to obtain evolution points. Didn't this mean that he could obtain a large amount of evolution points by devouring monsters? This was much better than Wang Mang's hard work of devouring pigs. It must be known that Wang Mang only got 5 million evolution points by devouring 10,000 pigs. In the end, it was not as much as devouring a great monster. It seems that a large amount of evolution points would not necessarily be obtained, but a high-quality one would definitely obtain a lot of evolution points. This was Wang Mang's guess and conclusion after devouring the Golden Condor King. This was because this was only the second time Wang Mang had devoured a monster that he had discovered this abnormality. Thinking about this, Wang Mang could not help but become excited. He even had the thought of hunting monsters specifically. Although this was a bit unethical, Wang Mang could not resist the shocking amount of evolution points he obtained from eating monsters. Moreover, Wang Mang had already obtained 30 million evolution points from completing the quest. Adding the 5 million evolution points from devouring the Golden Condor King, he had already obtained a lot of evolution points. Now, Wang Mang had accumulated almost 50 million evolution points. The distance to his next evolution could be said to be close. Thinking about this, Wang Mang's blood boiled, but he quickly calmed down. In fact, Wang Mang had already heard it. The Tranquil King had asked him to stop. It was just that he chose to pretend that he didn't hear it. Needless to say, he had already angered the Tranquil King, so he had to think of a way to get through it first. With this thought, Wang Mang inadvertently raised his huge snake head and saw the Tree Demon King not far away looking at him with a cold expression. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang naturally knew that he had slapped the Tranquil King's face. Now, he had completely offended the Tranquil King. Actually, Wang Mang wasn't the only one who saw through it. The few great demons, the stone demon, and the other python demons who had not gone far also saw that the scene was a little strange. Perhaps the other great demons did not know, but the stone demon knew that the Golden Condor King was a great demon on the surface, but he was actually a subordinate of the Tree Demon King. Therefore, the stone demon was not in a hurry to leave. Instead, he stayed behind to observe the situation. He was especially pleased when he saw the King Tree Demon's ugly expression. This was because the relationship between the Stone Demon and the Tranquil King was not as simple as it seemed on the surface. The Stone Demon thought of himself as a genius. He had more than 2,000 years of cultivation, but he had long been dissatisfied with the Tranquil King's rule. This Stone Demon had even secretly colluded with many other demons. It was just that he did not dare to act rashly because he did not know the Tranquil King's strength. In another province, there was more than one demon king. There were usually 4 or 5 demon kings in a province, and they shared the territory of the province. Some provinces with sparsely populated and large green areas could accommodate even more demon kings. This was because some provinces in the Red Empire had too many developed cities and could not accommodate too many demon kings. In provinces with too many humans, the territories where the demons were active were much smaller. Naturally, they did not have much territory. Of course, the demons on land could not compare to the demons in the sea. This was something that many demons on land were well aware of. Their strength was on a completely different level compared to the demons in the sea. The vast and endless sea was too mysterious. No one knew what kind of demons existed. At the same time, Wang Mang, who had regained his senses, pretended to be terrified and said, "Tranquil King, I didn't react earlier. That's why I didn't notice you speaking." After hearing Wang Mang's words, the Tranquil King remained expressionless and looked at him coldly. At the same time, Lord Hushan was also shocked. He did not expect Brother Giant Python to be so ruthless. The Tranquil King had already spoken, but Wang Mang pretended not to hear it and swallowed the Golden Condor King in front of the Tranquil King. This was a blatant slap to the Tranquil King's face. For a moment, he was worried for his valiant neighbor. "Young friend, you have some tricks up your sleeve. You seem to be quite strong." After a moment of silence, the Tranquil King said coldly, As it spoke, the Treant King's giant body began to move slowly. For a moment, the entire ground nearby began to tremble slightly. Seeing this, Wang Mang's heart sank. He knew that this old demon was about to attack him. He did not expect the Treant King to change its attitude so quickly. This was simply unscrupulous. Of course, even though the Treant King was about to attack, Wang Mang still asked in a terrified tone, "Treant King, I killed the Golden Condor King. I didn't offend you, did I?" To be honest, Wang Mang did not want to attack the Treant King. This fellow was a fatal threat to him. This proved that the Treant King definitely had the means to kill him. Because of this, Wang Mang chose to temporarily lower his head. After all, he was no match for the Treant King. This was also Wang Mang's last resort. Otherwise, he would have attacked without a second thought. Wang Mang's words caused the enraged Treant King to be speechless. If he did not say that the Golden Condor King was his subordinate, he really had no reason to attack. However, the Treant King was determined to attack Wang Mang. His expression was cold and his tone was cold. "The Golden Condor King is my subordinate. How dare you kill him in front of me? You naturally deserve to die." Hearing the Treant King's words, Wang Mang knew that things were not going well. Even the Treant King had said such a thing. It seemed that it was very determined to attack him. Since they had already shed all pretense of cordiality, Wang Mang naturally did not want to be outdone. Wang Mang slowly moved his enormous body and straightened his 10-meter-tall snake head. His tone was cold as he said in a cold voice, "Then let me have a taste of the Treant King's methods." Hearing this, the Treant King laughed in anger. "Little python demon, you don't know what's good for you." Just as he finished speaking, the Treant King's huge body rose from the ground, and the ground instantly cracked. Today, I'll let you know how the word death is written. After a ruthless roar, the Treant King's many roots that were hidden in the ground broke out of the ground. These roots that broke out of the ground extended like vines and attacked Wang Mang from all directions. Chapter 96. Wang Mang felt his scalp go numb as he faced the overwhelming attack of the vines. Not only were the roots of the tree branches extremely thick, but there were also too many of them. They were like countless tentacles that extended towards him. In addition, Wang Mang didn't really understand the strength of the Treant King. Naturally, he didn't choose to fight it head-on. Instead, he chose to avoid it. He quickly moved his huge body and retreated 30 meters away. However, just as Wang Mang retreated, the countless vines continued to bombard the place he was at previously. Following a series of earth-shattering noises, Wang Mang looked back and saw that the place he was at previously had a 10-meter deep crater. Dust filled the air. Seeing this, Wang Mang couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Were these tree roots that terrifying? Although Wang Mang believed that these tree roots wouldn't be able to break through his body of steel, their power was still terrifying. Moreover, if he had chosen to fight it head-on earlier, he would have been bound by countless tree roots. It was very likely that he would be entangled by countless tree roots. When that happened, it would be difficult for him to break free. This was also one of the reasons why Wang Mang chose to avoid it. Because once he was bound by the tree roots, Wang Mang didn't dare to imagine the consequences. As for counterattacking, Wang Mang couldn't find a chance to counterattack for the time being. This was because the Treant King's roots alone were enough to give him a headache. Just as Wang Mang was feeling a headache, vexed, and helpless, he saw that the earth-shattering tree roots were attacking again from within the dust. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang jumped in fright and hurriedly retreated another 30 meters, once again avoiding this sea of roots and vines. However, what made Wang Mang helpless was that the tree roots' attack range made Wang Mang's jaw drop. He had already retreated 60 meters, but the tendrils were still able to extend out and attack him relentlessly once again. Aggrieved, Wang Mang retreated again. After repeating this several times, Wang Mang retreated more than 100 meters. The tree roots finally couldn't reach him. This made Wang Mang secretly relieved. It seemed that there was a limit to how far the roots could spread. However, just as Wang Mang was about to let go, what happened next made Wang Mang's eyes widen and his jaw drop. He saw that the Treant King's huge body was actually uprooted from the ground. Even the ground was trembling. Its dense tree roots were like legs, supporting its huge body and rushing towards Wang Mang. Let alone Wang Mang, Lord Hushan, the stone demon, and the other python demons were all dumbfounded by this scene. Without exception, all of them were stunned by the Treant King's actions, because not even in their dreams had they imagined that the Treant King was actually capable of moving. Moreover, although the movement speed wasn't fast, it could indeed move. Little python demon, if you have the ability, then come at me. Are you trying to make me laugh to death by hiding like this? At this time, the Treant King's huge body was rushing towards Wang Mang. At the same time, the Treant King's face was cold, and its hoarse voice was full of mockery. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang felt his scalp go numb. He was extremely shocked. Wang Mang originally planned to not come to the Treant King's territory in the future. Anyway, the Treant King couldn't move. However, not only did the Treant King move, but its movement speed wasn't very slow either. This completely broke Wang Mang's understanding, especially when facing the approaching Treant King. Wang Mang pondered for a moment and made a decision in his heart. Of the 36 stratagems, escape was the best strategy. He really couldn't beat it. It was better to run. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's snake eyes stared coldly at the Treant King and said coldly, "The Treant King's actions today will be rewarded greatly in the future." As soon as he finished speaking, Wang Mang moved his huge body and escaped without any integrity. Surprisingly, the Treant King didn't chase after him. On the contrary, the Treant King looked at Wang Mang's departing figure and was extremely furious. This was because Wang Mang's shamelessness was beyond his expectations. If he couldn't beat it, he would run away. Moreover, he ran away so decisively. He had no bottom line and no integrity. As for why he didn't chase after him, because even if he wanted to, he couldn't catch up to Wang Mang. His speed wasn't slow, but compared to Wang Mang, he was too far behind. That was why he couldn't accept it and had to let Wang Mang leave temporarily. At the same time, the stone demons and a few python demons who were watching the show not far away were speechless. They didn't expect Wang Mang to be so shameless. He ran away as soon as he couldn't beat it. The battle hadn't even started yet. Of course, they didn't think that Wang Mang's strength was weak, but because this Treant King was too strong. Just from the roots and vines that covered the sky, even they couldn't do anything about it. Moreover, Wang Mang was right to not fight it head-on because these roots and vines hid the Treant King's mouth parts. Once Wang Mang was entangled, he would be sucked dry by the Treant King. Therefore, Wang Mang's choice to run away was actually a very smart move. He really couldn't do anything to the Treant King. In addition, the Treant King only used its roots and vines, and Wang Mang was helpless. It wouldn't be good to continue fighting. Therefore, not to mention Wang Mang, even if it was the stone demon present, the other python demons would also be helpless. After regaining his senses, the stone demon also had a clear understanding of the Treant King's strength. It was very terrifying. At the same time, Lord Hushan, who came with Wang Mang, was also frightened by the strength of the Treant King. Especially after seeing the stone demon and the other python demons leave, he also hurriedly left in a panic. On the other side, Wang Mang, who had already fled more than 10 kilometers, slowed down. However, Wang Mang still felt very aggrieved. The previous battle was simply suppressed. He didn't even have the strength to fight back. It could even be said that he was hung up and beaten by this Treant King. There was no other way. This Treant King was really ridiculously powerful. It could even move. It simply subverted Wang Mang's understanding. In addition, Wang Mang had already discovered, although his strength was not bad, but it was still far from being able to dominate the land. His previous thoughts were too naive. Thinking of this, Wang Mang's mood was extremely gloomy. Fortunately, thinking of the harvest this time, Wang Mang's heart was a lot happier. Now, he had accumulated about 50 million evolution points. He only needed 10 million evolution points to evolve next time. After Wang Mang returned, he would be able to evolve after eating pigs for 2 days. Chapter 97. Thinking like this, Wang Mang's mood was quite good. Although he had offended the Treant King this time, Wang Mang's harvest was quite bountiful. 30 million evolution points. This allowed Wang Mang's next evolution to be within reach. Damn Treant, just you wait. Wait for me to go back and properly develop. The next time we meet, I'll definitely take your life. After cursing out loud, Wang Mang finally moved his body and slowly hurried home. At this time, a familiar voice came from behind him. "Brother Giant Python, wait for me." Turning around, Wang Mang saw Lord Hushan galloping toward him from afar. After catching up, Lord Hushan could not help but sigh at Wang Mang. He felt that Wang Mang was too impulsive and had a bad temper. He had clearly gone to celebrate the birthday, but this valiant neighbor had provoked the Treant King to attack him. Although Wang Mang had already escaped, the Treant King would definitely not let this go. It was very likely that it would send its underlings to cause trouble for Wang Mang. In short, the Treant King and Wang Mang's conflict was very deep. Both sides were like fire and water. This was because Wang Mang had offended the Treant King and had even swallowed its underlings. But in truth, Lord Hushan also felt that Wang Mang was quite unlucky. He had not done anything and was already targeted by the Golden Condor King. When he killed the Golden Condor King, he found out that it was the Treant King's underling. This was simply a disaster falling from the sky. Sigh, Brother Giant Python, be careful. The Treant King is not to be trifled with. After all, our territories are actually within the Treant King's territory. When the time comes, the Treant King will definitely continue to attack you. Seeing that Wang Mang's mood was quite good, Lord Hushan could not help but warn him. Wang Mang did not mind and said with disdain, "What are you afraid of? Give me some time. This Treant King is nothing to be afraid of." Seeing Wang Mang's confidence, Lord Hushan was a little surprised, but he didn't say much. In his opinion, since Wang Mang said so, he must have some trump cards and preparations. Therefore, on the way back, he purposely tried to be nice to Wang Mang. He even asked Wang Mang to visit his territory more often when he had time. After chatting for a while, Lord Hushan and Wang Mang parted ways and returned to their respective residences. After parting ways with Lord Hushan, Wang Mang traveled for a few more hours before returning to his territory. Since it was nighttime, Wang Mang rushed to his farm as soon as he got back. After arriving at the farm, Wang Mang ate another 10,000 pigs, easily earning 58 million evolution points. Now, Wang Mang was one step closer to evolving. He believed that as long as he ate the pig for 1 or 2 days, it would start to evolve. Thinking about this, the satisfied Wang Mang left the farm. After arriving at the shore of the reservoir, he directly entered the reservoir. As his huge body swam in the water, he stirred up layers of waves. After patrolling his territory, Wang Mang entered the underwater lair to rest. When it was daytime, Wang Mang still did not leave the lair. In truth, Wang Mang was also considering whether or not he should open the reservoir. If he continued to open it, then it would not be good for Wang Mang's activities during the day. Should he continue to open it? It would be a pity to give up on such a large income. After thinking about it for a long time, Wang Mang decided to let it develop. After all, Wang Mang was rarely active during the day. If he wanted to be active, he didn't have to be active in the reservoir. He could also enter the forest. When night fell, Wang Mang once again returned to the shore and ate the 10,000 pigs in the farm. Another 450 evolution points entered his account. At this point, Wang Mang was only 2 to 3 million evolution points away from evolving. However, Wang Mang was not willing to wait any longer. Moreover, Wang Mang was prepared to evolve again tonight. This was because he still had the 10% evolution card that he had not used yet. Thinking about this, Wang Mang first went to the reservoir to wash away the smell of blood. Afterwards, Wang Mang returned to the lair and impatiently said, "System, begin to evolve. Use the 10% evolution card." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice echoed. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Successfully used the 10% evolution card." Ding! After using the 10% evolution card, 57. 6 million evolution points are required. Ding! 57. 6 million evolution points have been deducted. Beginning evolution. In the next moment, Wang Mang lost consciousness. 2 hours later, only then did Wang Mang completely awaken from his evolution. After waking up again, Wang Mang was shocked as he observed the changes in his body. First, his body size and length had increased as expected. However, Wang Mang noticed something. His growth this time was huge. Was it an illusion? While doubting, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type, deep sea python status, adult cultivation experience, 2000 body shape, 45 meters long, 3 meters wide, 17,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 17,000 kilograms bite force, 94 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty fury special, storage space. Probing information, elementary lottery chance X1 divine ability, King's Slavery Shopping Center, unlocked evolution points, 2. 1 million/130 million. After looking at his personal information, Wang Mang knew that it was not an illusion. His evolution this time was indeed huge. His body size had reached 45 meters long. His body width had reached 3 meters. His weight had also increased by 4 tons. Additionally, his cultivation had increased by 200 years. This meant that he could now fight against a demon with 2,000 years of cultivation. This evolution had increased his strength in all aspects. Every aspect had increased by quite a bit. Thinking about this, Wang Mang nodded in satisfaction. The only thing that gave Wang Mang a headache was that the next evolution points required 130 million. Logically speaking, it should have been 128 million. In the end, the system gave him 130 million. Thinking about how he would need a huge amount of evolution points for his next evolution, Wang Mang felt a headache. At this time, Wang Mang could not help but feel helpless. Suddenly, Wang Mang realized that he seemed to have a chance at the lottery. After his eyes lit up, Wang Mang immediately said, "System, I'm going to use the lottery chance." In the next moment, a lucky compass appeared in Wang Mang's mind. However, the 9 prizes this time were completely different. The prizes were as follows: frowny face, 100 million evolution points, 50 million evolution points, 10 million evolution points, 1 million evolution points, 1% evolution card, 3% evolution card, 5% evolution card, 10% evolution card. Thank you for participating one more time. After looking at the prizes on the compass, Wang Mang immediately understood why it was called elementary lottery chance. It was because the prizes were much worse than the ones he got last time. The best prize was the 100 million evolution points and the 10% evolution card. However, since it was a free lottery chance, Wang Mang did not have anything to complain about. Thinking about this, Wang Mang expectantly said in his mind, "System, let's start the lottery." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice resounded. "Ding! Host has successfully used elementary lottery chance." Soon after, Wang Mang saw the elementary lottery chance begin to spin. 1 minute later, the lottery chance stopped spinning. The system's voice resounded. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Obtain 1." Chapter 98. The system's voice resounded frowny face. "Ding! Congratulations, host. Obtained 100 million evolution points." "Ding! Congratulations, host. 100 million evolution points have been credited." When the system's voice stopped, Wang Mang was stunned for a long time and did not come back to his senses until he saw the lucky wheel in front of him. He was looking at the 100 million evolution points prize. Wang Mang was stunned to find out that he had really won the prize. Moreover, it was a grand prize. 100 million? Damn, 100 million evolution points is great. With this 100 million evolution points, Wang Mang could accumulate another 30 million evolution points and evolve again. After coming back to his senses, Wang Mang was wild with joy and almost cried tears of joy. Damn it! Finally, he got lucky and won a big prize. Moreover, it was soul imprint this time. I directly won on the first try. It must be known that 100 million evolution points was one of the best prizes out of the 9 prizes. The only prize that could be better than 100 million evolution points was the 100% evolution card. Thinking about this, Wang Mang was bursting with joy. He felt as if he had won the lottery. He had never thought that he would win a prize, but in the end, he had won the grand prize. Thinking about this, Wang Mang's mood became even better. Good. System, you are finally generous for once. Wang Mang suppressed his excitement and could not help but think to himself. At the same time, Wang Mang could not help but say in his heart, System, open my personal information. He wanted to confirm whether or not the 100 million evolution points had really entered his account. Even now, Wang Mang still felt like he was dreaming. In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type, deep sea giant python status, adult cultivation experience, 2,000 body, 45 meters long, 3 meters wide, 17,000 kilograms weight combat strength, 17,000 kilograms bite force, 94 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury special, storage space, information detection divine ability, King's slavery shop, activated. Evolution points, 102. 1 million/130 million. After reading the information, Wang Mang couldn't stop smiling. He had achieved his goal in another way. Mogul Wang's small goal was 100 million. After a long time, Wang Mang finally calmed down. He saw that the sky outside the nest was still dark. Wang Mang couldn't help but leave the nest and happily run around the mountain reservoir for a round. After dawn, Wang Mang hummed a tune in his heart as he patrolled the area around the reservoir. The area Wang Mang mainly patrolled was the territory west of the mountain reservoir. This was because this used to be the territory of the giant catfish. He wondered if the two of them had left any treasures behind. Thinking of this, Wang Mang began to carefully search the waters west of the reservoir. What surprised Wang Mang was that after searching for a long time, Wang Mang actually found the nest of the giant catfish. This was a body of water that was connected to a mountain. The mountain seemed to have been hollowed out, forming a huge water cave. This water cave was very big. After all, it was a water cave that could accommodate the giant catfish. It was easy to imagine how big it was. After entering the water cave, Wang Mang realized that this water cave was much better than the one he had in the water. This huge water cave was not only a paradise, but it was also 100 meters wide. The mouth of the water cave was also more than 10 meters wide. Additionally, after entering the water cave, Wang Mang discovered that on the walls of the water cave, there were some plants that were as clear as crystal. Seeing this scene, Wang Mang curiously used information detection. In the next moment, the information of the glass-like plants appeared in Wang Mang's mind. Target, geocentric marrow sprout status. Immature type, natural treasure. After reading the information, Wang Mang finally understood why the giant catfish set its nest here. It was because the geocentric marrow was growing on the walls of this huge water cave. Thinking about this, Wang Mang could not help but want to try eating it and see how many evolution points he could get. However, these sprouts were too small. They were like quiet bean sprouts. Although they had sprouts, they were not fully grown. This thing that looks like bean sprouts is the geocentric marrow. Wang Mang was amazed. After sizing it up for a while, he gave up the idea of eating it immediately. These sprouts were not even enough for him to eat. It was better to wait until they were fully grown before considering eating them. Thinking about this, Wang Mang moved his huge body and left the huge water cave. Although it was already daytime, Wang Mang was in a good mood. He was still in an excited state, so it was not suitable for him to sleep. However, Wang Mang hadn't been swimming in the reservoir for long before he discovered something unusual. He could faintly hear a huge noise coming from the water surface. After looking up, Wang Mang discovered that even a helicopter had arrived. What was this situation? Confused, Wang Mang quietly swam to the water surface and secretly looked at the shore of the reservoir. Soon after, Wang Mang discovered that there were too many people coming to the Huanshan Reservoir. In addition, Wang Mang also saw that some people had brought a lot of boats. There were also many people carrying professional video cameras. What the hell was going on? Could it be that people from the TV station came? Wang Mang secretly muttered in his heart. However, what Wang Mang did not know was that he had guessed correctly. This was because the Huanshan Reservoir had exploded a few times. They discovered traces of the giant serpent and even recorded videos. Thus, it directly attracted people from the local TV stations and many media outlets. Moreover, Wang Mang also saw many rescue teams on the shore, preparing to deal with any unexpected situations. In addition, there were simply too many people coming to join in the fun. It was several times more than the usual number of people coming and going. There was a sea of people surrounding the reservoir. Wang Mang even vaguely saw his father surrounded by a large group of media reporters on the shore. F***CK. It can't be, right? Did they really attract people from the TV station? Seeing this scene, Wang Mang muttered with some uncertainty in his heart. At the same time, on the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir, among the crowd of people who were in charge of filming from the TV station, a short-haired, beautiful reporter, holding a microphone, said with a smile, "Recently, the Huanshan Reservoir has exploded many times that there is a super giant serpent living in the water. There are even many enthusiastic netizens who have recorded traces of the super giant serpent. After professional verification, this video has been confirmed to be unedited, and there are no rumors." In order to satisfy the curiosity of the enthusiastic netizens, XXTV station's Xiao Li personally came to the scene and is about to reveal the existence of the super giant serpent in the reservoir. In addition, in order to find the trace of the super giant serpent, we have invited the most professional people to help and take safety measures. Speaking of this, the TV station's short-haired beauty, Xiao Li, said with a smile, "The target of many media interviews here is the boss of our Huanshan Reservoir contractor. Let us interview the boss. What do you think about this matter? Is there really a super giant serpent living in this reservoir?" At the same time, the TV station's reporter, Xiao Li, came to Old Man Wang's side and said with a smile, "Boss Wang, do you really think there is a water monster or a super giant serpent in your reservoir?" Hearing this, Old Man Wang felt very helpless. He had been disturbed by these reporters for a long time. After he couldn't refuse, Old Man Wang reluctantly accepted this interview. Because if he refused these media reporters and media people would continue to pester him endlessly. Facing this beautiful TV station reporter, Xiao Li, Old Man Wang said righteously, "That's right. Rumor. This is definitely a rumor. It's just a simple commercial hype. There is really no giant serpent in my reservoir." Chapter 99. Hearing Old Man Wang's words, the beautiful TV reporter, Xiao Li, was suddenly speechless. The same was true for everyone present at the Huanshan Reservoir. They were all speechless. After all, this had been confirmed, because there were indeed too many people in the reservoir who had taken videos of the supergiant python, and it wasn't just one or two of them. It was precisely because so many people had filmed it that it attracted these media and TV reporters to interview it. However, Old Man Wang was still pretending to be stupid. He was simply treating everyone present as fools. For a while, many of the onlookers on the shore of the Huanshan Reservoir began to speak. "Boss Wang, you're simply lying through your teeth." "That's right. Everyone has already been confirmed that there is a super giant python in this reservoir. This old man is very bad. It's already been confirmed, but he still refuses to admit it. Of course he won't admit it. If this Huanshan reservoir is banned, how much money would he lose? But he can't lie through his teeth. It's simply too much. He's actually pretending not to know. For a while, many of the people on the shore of the Huanshan reservoir began to complain. At this time, the media was not to be outdone. They once again gathered around Old Man Wang. Boss Wang, you said that there is no giant python in your reservoir. But how do you explain these videos on the internet? That's right, Boss Wang. There's more than just a giant python in your reservoir. There's even a water monster. These have all been confirmed. Boss Wang, if you continue to operate the reservoir like this, what if there are hidden dangers? Boss Wang, why are you still quibbling when you have already been confirmed? How do you explain the videos on the internet? Father Wang felt a headache coming on as he faced the media's barrage of questions. He was also at a loss for words. That was because Old Man Wang couldn't find any excuse to defend himself at the moment. That's right. How do you explain the videos on the internet? Old Man Wang, who felt a headache, braced himself and played dumb. What videos? Why didn't I know about it? Seeing that Boss Wang was still playing dumb, they knew that it would be difficult to get him to admit it himself. Therefore, the TV station's beautiful reporter, Xiao Li, smiled and said, "It seems that our boss didn't see it with his own eyes, so he can't be sure that there is a super giant python in his reservoir or the existence of a reservoir. However, it doesn't matter. We'll go and search for it ourselves. Then, we'll be able to find out whether or not there is one. For this reason, we have prepared 3 methods to detect whether there is a giant python in the reservoir. We brought sonar, ultrasonic detection, high-definition underwater cameras, and professional divers. At the same time, the staff of the TV station was ready to go. They gathered the boats that they had prepared. After that, the team of dozens of people set off towards the depths of the reservoir. At the same time, Wang Meng, who was observing from afar, immediately noticed this scene. Seeing this, Wang Meng felt a little helpless. Of course, he couldn't show up. Once it was completely exposed, it would probably attract even more attention. Thinking of this, Wang Meng moved his huge body and dived into the depths of the water. However, Wang Meng didn't show up, but Wang Meng wasn't the only one in the reservoir. Don't forget, there are psychic big fish in the reservoir. These psychic big fish, for a monster like Wang Meng, the super boss in the reservoir, of course, were just prey. But these psychic big fish, for these ordinary people, were not easy to deal with. These psychic big fish were more than 10 meters long. Moreover, they had high intelligence. Therefore, the people in charge of investigating the giant python didn't find any trace of Wang Meng. But the huge psychic big fish in the reservoir had already scared them silly, and their faces were full of shock. When they saw the picture taken by the underwater micro-detection camera with their own eyes, they felt their scalp tingle. This reservoir is too strange. The fish in it are so big. I already saw a big fish that was several meters long. No, there are big fish that are more than 10 meters long in the reservoir. Could it be that these big fish in the reservoir are the legendary water monsters? Moreover, the aquatic resources in this reservoir are too scary. There are too many big fish. If there's really a super giant python living in this reservoir, then I believe it very much. Speaking of this, the beautiful reporter from the TV station, Xiao Li's voice was trembling with excitement. Although they still couldn't find any trace of the super giant python, the underwater world of the reservoir had completely shocked them. Never in their wildest dreams would they have thought that there would be so many super psychic fishes in this huge reservoir. It wouldn't be an exaggeration to say that these huge psychic big fish were water monsters in other places. Moreover, there were so many of them that they didn't even dare to let the divers go down, for fear that they would be swallowed by the big fish. Therefore, the interview team that was supposed to be majestic this time, they even threatened to reveal the secret of the super giant python in the reservoir. But now they could only choose to end the interview with a weak finish, because they didn't dare to continue exploring. This reservoir was too scary. They were afraid that a huge crisis would occur. After all, the psychic big fish in the reservoir, these water monsters were too big. These scary big fish couldn't be considered fish to them. It was more appropriate to call them water monsters. Therefore, the TV station's media team, which originally came in a majestic manner, left the Huanshan Reservoir in a panic. Similarly, after these media reporters left, it was destined that the Huanshan Reservoir would become the focus of attention again. At the same time, after these media reporters left regretfully, the crowd at the Huanshan Reservoir decreased by a lot. It wasn't until the sky turned dark that the people who came to the Huanshan Reservoir to join in the fun left. However, there were many warning signs beside the Huanshan Reservoir. The warning signs read, "This reservoir is extremely dangerous. Swimming is prohibited. Violators bear the consequences." At the same time, after the sun went down, Wang Mang became active in the reservoir again. During the day, there were too many people, and even the TV station's reporters came. Wang Mang naturally couldn't be active. As a result, when the sky turned dark, Wang Mang went to the Huanshan Reservoir and impatiently went to the farm. When he arrived at the farm, the 10,000 pigs were already prepared. Wang Mang unceremoniously ate them all. Thus, another 6 million evolution points easily entered his account. This time, Wang Mang was only left with 20 million evolution points to evolve again. Thinking about this, Wang Mang couldn't help but feel happy. It would be great if he could draw a lottery every time. Of course, Wang Mang was just thinking about it. He knew that it wasn't very likely. Thinking about this, Wang Mang moved his huge body and left the farm. He first washed away the smell of blood in the reservoir, then prepared to return to the nest on the shore. However, when he returned to the nest, Wang Mang smelled a tyrannical aura in the forest. This made Wang Mang very suspicious. Did another apex predator enter his territory? At this time, the system's familiar voice sounded, ding. Detected malice from the beast god space towards the host. The host can choose from the following missions. Mission 1. Facing the encirclement of the beast god space, choose to hide and endure. Mission time. 2 days mission reward. 10 million evolution points. Mission 2. Facing the encirclement of the beast god space, choose to fiercely counterattack. Mission time. 2 days mission reward. 20 million evolution points. Mission 3. Facing the encirclement of the beast god space, choose to kill with lightning. Mission time. 2 days mission reward. 30 million evolution points. 1 beginner blind box gift pack. Oh! Chapter 100. After listening to the system's voice, Wang Mang was stunned. He did not provoke the beast god space recently. At most, he participated in the other party's mission, but he didn't do anything. Why did the beast god space have ill intentions towards him? Thinking of this, Wang Mang's heart became heavy. This was ill intentions from the beast god space. This was something he never expected. Of course, since the other party had ill intentions towards him, Wang Mang was not afraid. Based on his size, it was a fool's dream to surround him in his territory. How big was Wang Mang now? It had reached a length of 45 meters. What could the beast god space do to him on land? If they were in the ocean, Wang Mang would be worried. But on land, Wang Mang was not afraid of anyone. Even if he could not beat them, he could run away. With this thought, the worry in Wang Mang's heart faded away. Of course, Wang Mang wanted to see what kind of ants had the beast god space sent to surround and annihilate him. Therefore, Wang Mang began to capture the strange aura of the top predators in the air. Then, Wang Mang followed the aura and quickly entered a forest. On the other side, in a forest, dozens of top beasts gathered in the forest. Among these beasts, there were lions, tigers, brown bears, and even polar bears. In short, all the top large predators that could be seen on land were now gathered here. The savage lion and the Cape lion were among them. However, compared to these people's eagerness, they were more excited. But the brutal lion was not so optimistic. He was even a little worried. because these members of the beast god space had not interacted with Wang Mang before. Therefore, these members of the beast god space did not know how terrifying Wang Mang was. The brutal lion's size was one of the best among all the Meng beasts. But even with such a lineup, could they defeat Wang Mang? After experiencing Wang Mang's terrifying brutal lion and cape lion, they did not think so. Because when he first met Wang Mang was already very scary. Even their entire team, together with the Northeastern Tiger King's team, had been completely annihilated. Could it be that they could fight against Wang Mang with just these rotten fish and shrimps? Forget it. Unless Wang Mang just stood there and let them hit him without retaliating, it would be more likely. Captain, what should we do? This beast god space is crazy. It actually wants us to deal with that super giant python. At this moment, the Cape Lion said in a heavy tone. Hearing this, the savage lion was just as helpless. He said in a low voice, "What else can we do? Consider yourself unlucky. We've come to this reservoir again. And I don't know why the beast god space started to target this super giant python." The Cape Lion thought for a moment and said slowly, "It seems that this super giant python seriously violated the mission rules of the beast god space. Otherwise, the beast god space would definitely not act against a creature so easily." After hearing the Cape Lion's words, the savage lion nodded. That's possible. In fact, it was the truth. Wang Mang participated in the mission of the beast god space. It seriously broke the fairness of the missions of the beast god space. Therefore, although the beast god space was mechanical in nature, like a program, it still found Wang Mang. Because Wang Mang was a heretic who broke the beast god space's mission, and not just once or twice. Therefore, this time the beast god space issued a mission to encircle and annihilate Wang Mang together. In short, Wang Mang had been targeted by the beast god space. At this moment, hearing the words of the Cape Lion and the savage lion, a polar bear next to them said in disdain, "According to what you said, our mission this time is equivalent to seeking death." Hearing the polar bear's words, the savage lion did not speak indifferently. He was too lazy to say anything. At this time, another 6-meter-tall brown bear couldn't help but mock. "Our Lion King, why should we boost the morale of others and destroy our own? Everyone here is a top predator on land. Why would we be afraid of a giant python? Even if we can't defeat them one-on-one, we can still gang up on them. Let alone a giant python. Even a dinosaur would be able to tear it apart." After hearing the brown bear's words, the large top predators gathered together and laughed unscrupulously. Seeing this scene, the savage lion shook his head secretly. These guys were simply ignorant. They were used to being rampant. At this moment, in the dense bushes in the distance, there was a faint sound of movement. This caused all the top predators present to subconsciously look sideways. In the next moment, everyone saw a scene that shocked them to the core. A super giant python with a thickness of 3 meters and a length of 45 meters appeared in their sight. This was a super giant python with a body as black as ink. It was a horrifying super giant python. This giant python's upright body and head were 10 meters tall. Its pair of cold snake eyes were staring at them coldly. This super giant python was naturally Wang Mang, who had rushed over after hearing the news. After sizing up these dozens of top predators, Wang Mang was very surprised. He did not expect that the beast god space would send so many guys to surround him this time. Furthermore, these fellows were all top predators on the continent. Brown bears, polar bears, super crocodiles, silverback gorillas, cheetah, northeastern tigers, lions, and so on. There was even a forest boa among them. Its size and length should be around 18 meters. Of course, this little forest boa was nothing compared to Wang Mang. At the same time, the appearance of Wang Mang shocked all the members of the beast god space in the forest. They looked at the super giant python in front of them in shock. Only then did they know why the brutal lion was so worried. Because the giant python in front of them was not something they could afford to provoke. It was too big, a 45-meter long giant python. It was more than 3 meters wide. If they fought, it would be like a father beating his son. It would be a complete crush. For a moment, they who were full of confidence immediately became restless. Is this our goal? F***CKME. They're sending us to our deaths. No, I seriously suspect that they sent us here to be snacks. Damn it. How are we going to fight it? I'm not even as wide as its body. Is this the little python mentioned in the mission? They're treating us like idiots' younger brothers. I was wondering why the mission was so expensive. This mission is impossible to complete. I'm convinced. So this is the little python mentioned in the mission? I'm too young. Chapter 101. Let me tell you a joke. A 45-meter-long, supergiant python is just a small python. Sigh. I regret it so much. If I had known, I wouldn't have accepted this damned mission. I really thought it was a small python. Turns out I was too naive. In an instant, the members of the beast god's realm lost all their will to fight. They also wanted to complete the mission. The problem was that this mission was simply impossible to complete. At the same time, Wang Mang saw that the members of the beast god's realm were so frightened that they lost their fighting strength. In that case, Wang Mang would be able to save a lot of effort. Although it was true that Wang Mang did not place them in his eyes. But if these people had strong willpower, they could still waste a lot of his time. At this thought, Wang Mang slowly approached them and stared coldly at the members of the beast god's realm. Although their true forms were the apex predators of the land, they were still nothing to Wang Mang. At the same time, the moment the brutal lion saw Wang Mang, he completely lost his last bit of hope. If Wang Mang's size was still the same as before and did not change too much, they would still have the strength and chance to fight back. But the problem was that Wang Mang's body was even bigger than before, much bigger. Compared to the past and the present, there was simply an earth-shattering change. At this thought, the brutal lion and Vice Captain Cape Lion looked at each other and saw the bitterness in each other's hearts. At the same time, Wang Mang slowly moved his body and attacked these ants. Wang Mang opened his bloody mouth and spat out a large amount of corrosive poison. This instantly caused the members of the beast god's realm who did not manage to dodge in time to let out shrill cries after being infected by Wang Mang's corrosive poison. There were even some unlucky members who were directly taken away by the corrosive poison on the spot. It could be said that Wang Mang's terrifying strength was much stronger than they had imagined. Seeing this scene, the brutal lion could not help but panic. He has become stronger again. He has become much stronger than before. I'll fight it out with you. At this time, the 6-meter-tall polar bear could not help but roar in anger. Then, under the astonished gazes of the members of the beast god's realm, the polar bear that rushed in front of Wang Mang had already been bitten and swallowed. At the same time, the system's familiar voice rang in Wang Mang's mind. Ding. Congratulations, host. Devoured a mutated polar bear. Obtained 50,000 evolution points. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang say, "This evolution point is too little." To the current Wang Mang, this bit of evolution points was not even enough to fill the gaps between his teeth. Thinking, Wang Mang, he continued to attack. After all, Wang Mang, Wang Mang, Mang, go. Thus, each of them threw caution to the wind and began a fight with Wang Mang. Unfortunately, even if they began to fight with their lives on the line, they could not obstruct Wang Mang. There were even times when Wang Mang swept his tail and killed a few of them. As for those who were lucky enough to get close, Wang Mang would spit out a mouthful of corrosive poison and kill them on the spot. No matter how fiercely these fellows jumped, they were all easily killed by Wang Mang without exception. At the same time, the feeling of killing weaklings made Wang Mang high-spirited. This feeling was like a top-level boss coming to the beginner village. It was a one-sided massacre. Moreover, these guys' attacks were useless against Wang Mang. This was because Wang Mang's body was too big. a body of more than 40 meters. Both sides were simply crushing each other in terms of strength, crushing in terms of size, crushing in all directions. Thus, these beast god realm members were like dumplings in a pot, dying tragically in Wang Mang's hands. In an instant, screams could be heard everywhere in the forest. The beast god realm members were dying tragically on the spot. This scene lasted for an hour. An hour later, only then did the forest quiet down. At a glance, the ground was littered with animal corpses. In the vast jungle, in the entire open space, there was only a trembling grassland second brother left, the liver-digging hand hyena. This trembling liver, gouging hyena stared blankly at Wang Mang, without any intention to fight. Seeing this, Wang Mang gave him a quick death. He sent this guy flying with his tail and died tragically on the spot. At this point, all the members of the beast god realm were easily killed by Wang Mang. To be honest, after killing these beast god realm members, Wang Mang was still not satisfied. He discovered that the top predators sent by the beast god realm were simply not enough for him to kill. It was so much so that the high-spirited Wang Mang simply wanted to say, "Give me another dozen of these weaklings." In the next moment, the system's voice resounded in Wang Mang's mind. Ding! Congratulations, host. Mission completed. Ding! Congratulations, host. Obtained 30 million evolution points. Ding! Congratulations, host. Obtained a free blind box. Ding! Congratulations, host. You have accumulated enough evolution points to evolve. Would you like to evolve? No. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was bursting with joy. He had just evolved not long ago. Now he could evolve again. This feeling of constantly evolving and becoming stronger was simply too satisfying. Thinking about this, Wang Mang's mood became even more joyful. He could not wait to evolve again. Wang Mang first swallowed the corpses of the beast god realm members into his stomach. These corpses also gave Wang Mang 800,000 evolution points. This amount of evolution points was simply not worth mentioning. It was pitifully little. If it was not for the fact that many little drops make an ocean, Wang Mang would not even bother to eat these guys. Soon after, the satisfied Wang Mang moved his huge body out of the forest and returned to his nest. After returning to the nest, Wang Mang curled up his body and impatiently said in his mind, "System, begin evolving." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice resounded in Wang Mang's mind. Ding! Successfully deducted 130 million evolution points. Beginning evolution. In the next moment, Wang Mang completely lost consciousness. 2 hours later, only then did Wang Mang gradually awaken from his evolution. He first observed the changes after evolving. He discovered that his body had become thicker and bigger. Naturally, Wang Mang was not clear on how big the changes were. Thus, Wang Mang said in his mind, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type, deep sea giant python status, adult cultivation, 2,200 years body, 48 meters long, 3 meters wide, 20,000 kilograms weight fighting strength, 20,000 kilograms bite force, 94 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty, fury special, storage space, information detection, elementary blind box X1 divine ability, King's slavery shop, unlocked evolution points, 1 million/260 million. Chapter 102. After looking at the information, Wang Mang nodded his head in satisfaction. The evolution this time had made him a lot stronger. His current size was close to 50 meters. Moreover, his weight had reached 20 tons. His bite force had also reached 20 tons. This kind of increase made Wang Mang very satisfied. He believed that if he continued to evolve, he would be able to break through 100 meters. At that time, he would be invincible, right? If that was not enough, Then he would continue to evolve. What? 100 meters was not enough? Then let's go 200 meters. 200 meters was not enough? Then let's go 500 meters. Thinking about this, Wang Meng's blood began to boil. He could not help but feel excited. The only flaw in this evolution was that he did not receive any skill rewards. Of course, Wang Meng was not too disappointed. This was because obtaining a skill depended on luck. He also knew that he would not be able to obtain a skill every time he evolved. Additionally, Wang Meng was surprised to find that after completing the quest, he had also received a blind box. Speaking of the blind box, Wang Meng was speechless. He felt that the system was keeping up with the times. There was no need to talk about the lottery. It had already appeared. Now, even the blind box had appeared. I wonder if there will be a treasure chest in the future. Of course, Wang Meng was also curious. What kind of things could be obtained from the system's basic blind box? Thinking about this, Wang Meng looked forward to it and said, "System, open a blind box." In the next moment, the system's familiar voice echoed, "Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 200 million evolution points." Ding. Reminder. 200 million evolution points have been added. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained 10% evolution card. Ding. Congratulations, host. You have obtained a new skill, 10,000 beast deterrence. 10,000 beast deterrence. When a user's opponent is weaker than the host, after the host uses the skill, the user's opponent's strength will decrease by 1/3. When a user's opponent is stronger than the host, after the host uses the skill, the user's opponent's strength will increase by 1/3. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Meng was once again stunned. Never in his wildest dreams would he have thought that there would be 3 items in this beginner's blind box. Among the 3 items, there were 2 good items. The worst among them was the 10% discount evolution card. The best thing would be to directly draw 200 million evolution points. In addition, there was a skill in the basic blind box. For a moment, Wang Meng even felt like he was dreaming. It felt extremely unreal. Was he blessed by the goddess of luck recently? He had obtained 100 million evolution points not long ago. Now, it was even more ruthless, as he had to take out 200 million evolution points. Could it be that the elementary blind box was filled with good stuff? However, Wang Meng didn't think so. Everything in the elementary blind box was good stuff. How is that possible? Because the system wasn't that generous. It was impossible that everything was good for him. There was only one explanation. His luck was really good recently. When he evolved, he didn't get any skills, but when he opened the blind box, he got one. If this wasn't good luck, then the 200 million evolution points proved that Wang Meng's luck was great recently. Thinking about this, Wang Meng even had the urge to laugh out loud. The 200 million evolution points had already been transferred to his account. In other words, he only needed 60 million evolution points for his next evolution. Thinking about this, Wang Meng was bursting with joy. This kind of comfortable evolution process felt great. However, what made Wang Meng speechless was the new skill he obtained, 10,000 beast deterrence. This skill was a bit melodramatic. The main reason was that after using the skill, its effects would make people speechless. If the opponent was stronger than him, then if he used the skill, it would increase the opponent's fighting strength. If the opponent was weaker than him, then if he used the skill, the opponent's fighting strength would decrease by 1/3. Wasn't this attribute of bullying the weak and fearing the strong a bit too obvious? Although Wang Meng liked to deal heavy blows to the weak and be subservient to the strong, Wang Meng didn't mind. However, he felt that the skill's ability was too obvious. Was Wang Meng the type of person who specialized in bullying the weak and fearing the strong? How is this possible? This was because Wang Meng himself was that type of python. Was there a need to question this? Thus, Wang Meng was very satisfied with obtaining this skill. He felt that if he used this skill against opponents weaker than him, it would be like using a big move to slaughter them. The system was too shameless. It actually gave him a skill that specialized in bullying the weak. Wang Mang was happily thinking about this when the system's voice rang out. Ding! Detected that the host took advantage of the situation and still cursed shamelessly, warning the host once. If the host acts shamelessly again, one of the benefits the host received will be deducted. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang immediately awkwardly said, "System, don't misunderstand. Why would I curse you? System, the skill you gave me is simply too good. It gives me a sense of accomplishment when I abuse the weak. This skill is very good." Wang Mang was speaking the truth. Using this skill to abuse the weak was simply too satisfying. Therefore, Wang Mang was quite fond of this skill, and he used it quite a lot. In a good mood, Wang Mang couldn't wait to use this skill to test its effects. However, when he saw the sky gradually brightening outside the nest, Wang Mang could only give up on this idea. At this moment, Wang Mang inadvertently noticed that the little thing, who was sleeping soundly, suddenly had an idea. Deterrence of 10,000 beasts. Wang Mang directly used his new skill on the little thing, Bro Flat Top. The little thing, who was still sleeping, suddenly woke up as if it had a nightmare. The little thing frantically crawled up. Its body trembled as it looked around blankly. This feeling was as if it had suddenly been targeted by some terrifying existence. After seeing the little thing's reaction, Wang Mang secretly nodded in satisfaction. This skill was not bad. After he used the skill on the little thing, Bro Flat Top, who was sleeping soundly, was so frightened that it woke up from its sleep. Especially when it saw the little thing's trembling appearance, Wang Mang felt that it was even more funny. After he stopped using the skill, the little thing calmed down. Only then did the little thing slowly calm down. It scratched its head blankly and then looked at Wang Mang. Seeing the little thing's frightened and innocent expression, Wang Mang laughed in his heart and immediately said, "It's fine, continue sleeping." However, the little thing still looked around vigilantly for a while. Finally, it crawled to Wang Mang's side and continued sleeping. Obviously, from the little thing's point of view, it was safer to sleep close to Wang Mang. When night fell again, Wang Mang left the nest. In the dark and windy night, Wang Mang's huge body shuttled through the forest, moving his body towards the farm. After arriving at the farm, Wang Mang ate the 10,000 pigs, as usual, gaining another 51 million evolution points. After eating the pigs, Wang Mang left the farm in satisfaction. Afterwards, Wang Mang could not help but want to know how many evolution points he needed to evolve. Thinking to this point, Wang Mang said in his heart, "System, open my personal information." In the next moment, his personal information appeared in front of his eyes. Host, Wang Mang type, deep sea giant python status, adult cultivation, 2,200 years body, 48 meters long, 3 meters wide, 20,000 kilograms weight battle strength, 20,000 kilograms bite force, 94 kilometers per hour skills, death coil, corrosive poison, skin camouflage, steel body, super healing, water breathing, bloodthirsty rage, 10,000 beast deterrent special, storage space, information detection, 10% evolution card magic ability, King's slavery shop, unlocked evolution points, 208, 1 million/260 million. Chapter 103. After reading the information, Wang Mang inwardly nodded his head in satisfaction. Right now, he still needed 52 million evolution points to evolve. Even if he did nothing and ate 10,000 pigs every night, it would only take him 10 days. Thinking to this point, Wang Mang could not help but feel happy. He moved his large body to the bank of the library and washed off the smell of blood on his body. Then, he began to patrol the reservoir. After patrolling once, Wang Mang was finally prepared to leave in a good mood. However, just as Wang Mang moved his large body and prepared to return to the shore, Wang Mang, on the other hand, unexpectedly discovered a super tortoise on the surface of the water reservoir. This tortoise was very big. It was covered in moss and had a turtle shell on its back. It was 7 to 8 meters long. This immediately attracted Wang Mang's attention. He moved his large body in the water and quickly rushed over. However, when the tortoise heard the movement, it was so scared that it immediately dove into the water. However, Wang Mang's speed was too fast. His large body created huge waves on the surface of the lake. This was because Wang Mang's speed in the water could easily exceed 100 kilometers per hour. As for the fastest speed in the water, what was his fastest speed? In truth, Wang Mang himself was not too sure. However, when he was in the water, Wang Mang was like a fish in water. His speed was simply frightening. In just a short moment, Wang Mang had already caught up to the super tortoise. When he saw Wang Mang, who was almost 50 meters tall, blocking his path, the old tortoise immediately stopped. He looked at Wang Mang with incomparable fear. His large head shrank back into the turtle shell and immediately begged, "King, this is the first time this little tortoise came here. I did not mean to offend the king. I did not know this is the king's territory. I beg the king to spare this little tortoise's life." Hearing this, Wang Mang was stunned. This super tortoise was too terrified. Wang Mang hadn't even decided whether or not to *CK him up, and this super old bastard actually admitted defeat so quickly. However, seeing this super old tortoise trembling in front of him and not daring to disobey him, Wang Mang was very satisfied. Moreover, the other party didn't know that this was his territory. He should be considered a passerby. With this thought, Wang Mang's hostility towards this super old tortoise lessened by a lot. Just as Wang Mang was about to speak, the system's familiar voice rang in his mind. Ding! It has been detected that the host does not have a loyal subordinate in the reservoir. The host is given the following missions to choose from. Mission 1. Spare the super tortoise. Mission time. Available upon selection. Quest reward. 10 million evolution points. Mission 2. Shelter the super tortoise. Mission time. Available upon selection. Quest reward. 20 million evolution points. Mission 3. Avenge super tortoise. Make him a subordinate who will follow you to the death. Mission time. 3 days. Mission reward. 30 million evolution points. 1 basic blind box and 1 basic lucky wheel lucky draw. After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang was immediately stunned. He never thought that the system would give him another mission. Moreover, it wanted him to subdue another tortoise? Did it want this tortoise to become his turtle prime minister? Thinking about this, Wang Mang inwardly shook his head. Only a dragon king would use a tortoise as his turtle prime minister. But he was a giant python. He wasn't a dragon king. In the end, the system did indeed give him something different. From the looks of it, it wanted him to subdue this tortoise. Although this made him speechless, Wang Mang couldn't refuse. This was because the system's reward was too high, 30 million evolution points. Additionally, there was an elementary blind box. There was also a chance to draw a lucky wheel. Wang Mang had obtained 100 million and 200 million from these 2 items. Wang Mang couldn't just give up on such good things. What if he obtained another blind box and obtained another few hundred million evolution points? Thinking about this, Wang Mang made a decision and said in his heart, "System, I choose mission 3. In the next moment, the system's familiar voice echoed, "Ding! Host's choice of mission successful. Please complete the mission as soon as possible to obtain the reward." After hearing the system's voice, Wang Mang focused his gaze on the tortoise. After carefully observing, Wang Mang noticed that there were many fresh wounds on the tortoise's shell. Thinking up to this point, Wang Mang asked the old tortoise, "What exactly happened? Tell me in detail." Hearing this, the old tortoise fearfully and honestly explained everything that had happened. It turned out that the tortoise was a psychic monster from a river 100 li away. Its previous king was a crocodile monster nicknamed King Black Crocodile. This King Black Crocodile was a monster with 1,800 years of cultivation. It had dominated the Black River for more than 1,000 years. This old tortoise had followed King Black Crocodile for more than 1,000 years. Not only that, This old tortoise had been loyal and devoted to King Black Crocodile for more than 1,000 years. It could be said that it had served King Black Crocodile for more than 1,000 years. However, half a month ago, King Black Crocodile wanted to break through 2,000 years of cultivation. Since it didn't have any heavenly treasures, it set its sights on the tortoise's inner core. In order to break through, King Black Crocodile set its sights on the tortoise that had followed it for more than 1,000 years. The old tortoise that had loyally followed King Black Crocodile for more than 1,000 years would naturally not sit still and wait for death. Thus, under King Black Crocodile's pursuit, the old tortoise escaped from the Black River and fled to Wang Mang's territory. After hearing the story, Wang Mang also felt that King Black Crocodile was too shameless. After all, even Wang Mang, who was proud of being shameless, would not do such a thing. This old tortoise had followed King Black Crocodile for more than 1,000 years. Even if he did not make any contributions, he should at least have worked hard, right? Thinking of this, Wang Mang suddenly vowed solemnly, "Old tortoise, don't worry. Just stay here." Hearing this, the old tortoise was instantly moved to tears. However, he could not help but worry. "My king, what if King Black Crocodile comes looking for me? Won't I implicate my king?" Hearing this, Wang Mang said disdainfully, "It's just a crocodile. I don't care about it all. How about this? Old tortoise, you lead the way for me. I will go to the Black River and help you kill King Black Crocodile." Hearing this, the old tortoise almost burst into tears. He did not expect Wang Mang to not only take him in, but also help him take revenge. Suddenly, the old tortoise's tone was filled with gratitude. He pleaded, "Thank you, my king. I have nothing to repay you with. I am willing to stay by your side and be your servant." Wang Mang nodded his head in satisfaction when he heard these words of loyalty. He said impatiently, "Old bastard, bring me to the Black River right now. I have not eaten a greater goblin for a while now." Thinking of this, Wang Mang became even more excited. This was because a greater goblin was worth 5 million evolution points. In other words, he only needed to kill King Black Crocodile. Not only would he obtain the quest reward of 30 million evolution points, he would also obtain an additional 5 million evolution points. He would also obtain a beginner blind box. He would also obtain a lottery chance. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.